the headline is "Forget Spurs and Brighton, Fulham entertain the most," and basically says we're all talking about Tottenham and Ange Ball being so entertaining, about Brighton and the way De Zerbi sets his team up, aren't they great to watch? Bournemouth, now that Iraola's methods have sunk into the players, are a joy to watch as well. But she argues that Fulham are the most entertaining. Points to Willian, who at 35, she says, has found the form that was missing when he was at Arsenal, brings verve and unpredictability to the attack. She mentions Tom Cairney, who's on the bench tonight, saying he's added grit and physicality to the elegance of his game. Talks about Raul Jimenez finding goals in the last few weeks as well, and it's all built around Joao Palhinha, who's made more tackles last season than anybody else in Europe. But Dean Ashton, is Alison wrote in the Times today right, that of all those who are now trying to entertain you, Spurs, Bournemouth, Brighton, etc., Wolves maybe come into it as well, are Fulham the most entertaining?
She definitely makes some valid points, but I think she must have had this piece in mind when she watched 5 goals go in, 5 goals go in, because when they do play in that manner, they can be fantastic to watch, but that doesn't happen that often, and it has recently clicked, that's for sure. What I love about Marco Silva, and he's done this since he came into the Premier League from the Championship, is he has this real knack of getting it right when it comes to a press. And what they do is, and I would have liked this as a player, as soon as they lose the ball, they probably spend 5 seconds trying to win it back. If they don't win it back, then they totally regress into a position and then say, try and break us down when we've got Paulinho. And if you're a player, you think, fine, I can do that. I can work incredibly hard for 5 seconds, and if we don't win it back, we just then regress into our positions. And I think it's worked so well, and it worked brilliantly here against Liverpool in that epic game in the Premier League, because they caused so many problems on the break, but then they were really hard to break down.
I think they're entertaining. I think they're unpredictable. I don't think it's all about them in terms of an attacking sense. I think maybe what Alison's also referring to is that they are a little bit vulnerable at the back. I mean, only Sheffield United have conceded more goals than them away from home this season, and they came here, scored 3 times and didn't get anything out of the match. And look, listen, you can do that when you go to Liverpool, that happens. They did score a hell of a lot of goals in double quick time, but those 3 goals that they scored here were a third of all of the Premier League goals that they have scored away from home all season.
They have had some, and actually while we're talking about Fulham at the back, just want to mention Tosin Adarabioyo, who I think has been excellent for them this season.
Yeah.
Played for England's junior sides, I think up to under-19s, and I wonder whether he's far away from the thinking. He's a regular in the Premier League. Is he that far away from Gareth Southgate's thinking? You then just said they can see a lot of goals away from home.
They did. They can see a hell of a lot of goals away from home. And, you know, listen, Alison's probably watched a lot more of Fulham than I have this season. So she's got a much better handle on it, and she's one of the country's top journalists, so she knows what she's talking about. I would say with Tosin Adarabioyo, I am a little surprised that they haven't been able to tie him down to a contract, because they've opened talks with him, they stopped talks with him, which is why at the end of last window I think they were trying to move him on because his contract runs out soon. His contract still hasn't been sorted out. They've reopened talks this window, but there's still no resolution. So there is the prospect that he could even leave in this January transfer window, because they don't want to end up losing him for nothing.
Raul Jimenez getting goals, 5 in 7 he's scored, but Dean Ashton, he has scored only 1 of those away from home. So is that a thing with some strikers? They're more comfortable at home? Is it just a thing generally that home form is better?
Well, I think obviously a lot of teams are a different side when they're at home. They are more adventurous, they are more aggressive, they do tend to be braver and create more chances. So as a striker, you are of course more likely to get chances at home and therefore score more opportunities with those chances, whereas sometimes away from home the team can sit deep, you're very isolated, can be very difficult. So that can happen, of course it can, for a lot of strikers, and I don't think it's particularly unusual. I'm just so happy to see him with a big smile on his face, and looks like he's really enjoying that role again. And at what they paid for him, to start to get this player back that was once feared in the Premier League, he was fantastic for Wolves. To get him at the cut down price that they did, and to start to see maybe the the shoots of life back from his career, if they get anywhere near the player he was at Wolves, he'll be terrific.
Just want to mention one thing about Joao Palhinha. He is brilliant, one of the best players in the Premier League, and arguably Fulham's best player as well, but he is a walking yellow card, isn't he? He's got 10 in 23 this season. Amazingly, he wasn't booked here in the 4-3 in December, and you're thinking about how they had to battle to get forward to score those 3 goals, what they had to break up. Didn't get yellow carded, but he's a yellow card machine.
I'm really sure he's bothered about, paying the £27.50 for his yellow cards. He knows that's his role.
What's that? What's the £27.50?
That's your fine. That's what he used to get fined for a yellow card.
It's not now, though, is it? Surely.
I don't know.
It's
the same across the whole of football.
Exactly. Yeah. So you get fined. If you get a yellow card, I've had to pay them. You could get a little slip, and you have to pay the FA a fine.
I never have been yellow carded. I did not know this. I go nowhere near the ball.
Poor old Paulinho, it's cost him a fortune this season. But I think he knows that's his role. He's happy to take it, because if you're going to go in for as many interceptions and challenges that he does, then it just comes with the territory. I love him as a player. Obviously, very, very nearly went to Bayern Munich. Well, now I think everyone will be after him.
Yeah, listen, I think it's a really thought-provoking article. You'll find it on the Times website as well. And whether you agree with it or disagree with it, what it's made me think about is the teams I've seen this season. As you know, on Saturdays and midweeks, I watch a lot of football. And yeah, there's been times when I've really enjoyed watching Fulham. I've come away from games thinking that was thoroughly entertaining, but I could say the same about certainly Bournemouth this season. I've been thoroughly entertained by it. What it says is the Premier League is getting more and more entertaining. To stick with TalkSport, because we have so many live commentaries from the Premier League for you on your home of football. Fulham just making their way back in after the warm-up. We're about 15 minutes away from kick-off. It's live on TalkSport tonight. Carabao Cup semi-final first leg. Liverpool take on Fulham.
Kick-off on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18+ BGambleAware.org.
With LV, I can get my home insurance from just £179. They've made it easy for me to get a great price, which is what we're all after, right? And their 24/7 emergency helpline lets me look after what matters to me, because insurance is simple when it's me and LV.
No wonder we're rated excellent on Trustpilot. Get your quote today at lv.com. 10% of customers paid £179 or less May to October 2023.
The TUI Live Happy sale is back, where you can save up to £250 per booking. Holiday, here we come. Lock in your holiday today with a £0 deposit and spread the cost by direct debit. Holiday deal booked. TUI Live Happy. Financially protected by Atoll. Booking T's and C's apply. Selected departures, direct debit, minimum 26 weeks from departure. Minimum spend applies. See website for details.
Now January's forecast, starting cold and grey with outbreaks of boredom, before brightening up dramatically as Fryanuary rewards sweep across the country with Merlin annual passes, private cinema screenings and sun-soaked holidays for the whole family. The outlook is very nice indeed.
Brighten up January for your family with Fryanuary rewards from McDonald's. Earn points on fries for a chance to win epic family prizes. Sign up on the McDonald's app now. 18+. Purchase medium or large fries by 31st of January for an entry into prize draw. Maximum 28 entries. Only via app at participating restaurants. Terms apply.
Look at him go.
He's a quality striker.
No, not him. The electrician fixing those lights.
Wow. Is he?
Yes, he uses QuickBooks to prepare for self-assessment.
This is truly game-changing.
Use QuickBooks year-round to ensure your income tax return is shock-free. That's how you business differently. Intuit's QuickBooks.
Do you belong here? Next to me on an anti-poaching operation. 2 days drive from anywhere. What's your gut saying? Want to change the radio station?
Authorities will
In sport this week.
Or jump in and keep us hungry. Still listening? You belong here. Army, recruiting now. search army jobs.
Let's join Barry live for the build-up to this monumental match. What's your prediction?
You know, I've been watching this team for a very long time, Steve, and I can tell you now, score will be 3-1, there'll be over 9 corners, and a Frenchman will score a header.
Very specific, Barry.
It's Bet Builder from LiveScore Bet, mate. You can combine markets from thousands of options to create your own bet. Or if you can't make up your mind, you can choose from the pre-built quick bet options.
Which is exactly what you did, isn't it?
Bet Builder from LiveScore Bet. Building a bet just got easier. Full account terms apply. Bet responsibly. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Turn of pace and an eye for goals.
Brilliant finish in the bottom left-hand corner.
The League Cup back on Top Sport.
12 to kick off. The crowd is building and the noise is building, as well as a huge banner across the way in the Sekeni Dalglish stand. Lower tier reads Liverpool FC 19 times. Listen, Mo Salah, he's at AFCON, possibly till the final on February the 11th. Trent Alexander-Arnold has torn ligaments out for probably 3 weeks. 2 of Liverpool's best players missing tonight and for the near future.
He runs laterally, skips past one challenge, plays it to the right. It's Nunez into Salah, it's into the back of the net, a tap in front of the Anfield Road end. Salah steps up, sends the goalkeeper the wrong way, and Liverpool now can decide to have their New Year's Eve party tonight.
It all starts with him or it ends with him. So for them, if he goes 8 games, mate, that's the difference between winning and losing the league.
I don't think I've seen a footballer like him. Well, I mean, one thing you can say, Mo Salah's left them right at the summit now of the English Premier League. Somebody now needs to step up when Salah's not there.
I think probably Jota will play out there. Whatever you think of him, of his strengths and weaknesses, his numbers are phenomenal.
Diego Jota, you know, he comes off the bench, he scores, he starts, he scores, he's involved in goals. Luis Diaz now, you know, I think it's time for these guys to shine as well.
We all know we have different, in the moment, hopefully it stays like that, different offensive options who can all play that wing in a different way. Nobody, no Howie, nobody else who plays with that wing should play like Mo. It's not possible.
Salah into Trent Alexander-Arnold, who finishes it brilliantly from the edge of the area, driving the ball low and hard and into the far corner.
His range of passing is exceptional, his assists, his understanding of the football pitch and where he is and the pass that he has to supply.
He hyperextended his knee in the game, so he has a little tear and a collateral ligament, so he will be out probably 3 weeks. Big blow.
I don't think that from the defensive point of view they'll miss Trent necessarily, because of course that's not what Trent does. But of course from an attacking perspective, being creative when he pushes into midfield, or even from the right back position, the chances he creates coming forward, he's our most creative player, which is a bit strange.
As a new banner emerges away to our right, featuring all the trophies Liverpool have won in their history, more cups than Starbucks. Trent Alexander-Arnold tore his ligaments, Dean Ashton, after hyperextending his knee. Now, I've never done that, as you can well imagine, but that sounds really painful. Is it?
It is, yeah. I had the unfortunate situation where I hyperextended my knee when I was 17. Went on a pre-season tour, not to Dubai or the US, went to Ireland, and 6'5" Mr. McCarthy just pulled me aside at a corner and said, "Made a good start to your career, son." Like, yeah, play for England youth. Yeah, I have, yeah. You won't anymore after this. And then about 5 minutes later, he just put his studs, 2-inch studs straight through my knee when I hyperextended. I was out for longer than 3 weeks. I think I was out for about 3 months, but it's horrible. It's one of those that kind of, you know, almost makes you gag when you see it. It's horrible. It's not nice at all. So I feel for Trent, and I just hope it is just a slight injury and he won't be out long.
Did you play for England youth again?
Luckily I did.
well done to you, and that'll show him. Violence doesn't work. Listen, how do they replace not just Trent but Mo Salah as well? We've talked about the front three he's picked tonight, but that's a lot of creativity and a lot of goals you're taking out at the same time of one team. It's got to have an impact on the top of the table side,
especially down one side. You know, all of that creativity, that star quality, the end product that comes from that side is going to be really tested with them out. You know, Trent Alexander-Arnold is such a special talent that I don't think you necessarily, again, I talk about with Salah, it has to be a group that gets Liverpool through this little period without them, because you don't just swap player for player with these talents. And I think it's a great opportunity for Conor Bradley. I think he's capable of doing it in his own way, but he's going to need help. The likes of Jones, the likes of Elliott, these young players are going to have to step forward, which I think they're capable of, but it's going to be a real test without them.
I've got to say, and listen, let's see how they get on, but so far so good this season for Liverpool, and it's interesting after the dip that they had last season. Assistant Pep Lijnders revealed this week that he said to the players in pre-season, each of the players, he said to them, if you carry any negativity into this season, I'll punch you in the face. Now, is that good man management or bad man management?
That's like McCarthy kind of
that's your
management. How hard's his punch?
They all seem to have listened to it.
And they have, and the big difference, and they're back to kind of where they were when they won the league, is that defensive unit now, whether it's the back four and the goalkeeper or whether it's the whole team as a collective that conceded the fewest goals in the Premier League this season. And that is the reason why they are back to where they are, because they've sorted out defensively those issues that they clearly had. Van Dijk looks back to his majestic best. They've sorted out at times that issue when Trent was drifting. Kanate's amazing now at coming across and dealing with that space, with that power and pace that he has, and the intelligence of reading the game. So with that defensive unit and the array of talent that they've got, it's no surprise they're back to the best.
And nobody wants a punch in the face from Pep Lijnders either, so any wonder that's that encouragement, if you like, is working. He also did talk about Curtis Jones as well. This is a player I really, really like. I'm a big fan of Curtis Jones. Do you know what? I feel he might at some point enter into that Michael Carrick room in the Durham consciousness. You know, he might have his own department in the University of Durham. I admire him that much. I do really love Curtis. I love watching him play. I love the attacking side. He's almost like a free spirit. However, Lijnders said he doesn't get the credit he deserves. And I think he's right. He hasn't played for England yet. He's 22. And he's got over 100 senior appearances for Liverpool. You know, I find that absolutely extraordinary. He's not really even talked about with the senior England call-up. He's got to be in the next squad, hasn't he?
Well, he was brilliant during the European Championships in the summer, in a variety of different positions as well, by the way, and his versatility maybe has held him back in the past. I think he should be considered, especially in an area where England need bodies, and he's particularly, I mean, you mentioned he's at 100 games, but I think this season he's played really well. And last season, when they were struggling struggling to get towards European football, he came into the team, into the midfield when they had absences, and he helped them get better and better and strive to get into those Europa League positions. He was part of that renaissance at the end of last season, and part of putting those unbeaten figures which we have today on the board towards the end of last campaign. So look, I think he's a terrific little player. He does deserve probably a little bit more credit, but I suppose the issue is he isn't one of the first names on the Liverpool team sheet, and that I think maybe means that he does fall off the radar a little bit in terms of England.
I think he needed feeding up. He needed to grow into his physique, and as he does that, his talent is really starting to flourish, because the talent's there. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind. It was just physically he needed to grow into his physique.
Surely, I mean, he's a centre midfielder. 46 of the last 50 games he's played central midfield. So surely he's, even though I get that he's in and out of teams, a lot of rotation at Liverpool, he's surely got to be ahead of Calvin Phillips and even ahead of Jordan Henderson in Southgate's thinking, surely.
Well, we keep thinking those things, but the England manager has his own mind, and he's very headstrong in that.
And those players have experience with England, I guess.
Yeah. Exactly, but I think one thing that he has done, which I've liked with Southgate, is he has promoted players from the under-21s, so you would expect Jones to get his chance.
Well, the players emerging from the tunnel, I tell you what, Virgil van Dijk has definitely got his game face on. He looked moody, mean, and ready for business. Fulham emerge, and they know they need a result from this tonight. Middlesbrough set a standard last night, and some might argue Fulham getting through this time will be an even bigger shock. Let's get it on. Cup nights under the lights are always special on TalkSport. Liverpool against Fulham, with a man who scored against Liverpool in a cup final, Dean Ashton, and TalkSport's chief football commentator Sam Matface.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much, Adrian. Yeah, Liverpool, the only team that could win a domestic treble. In fact, throwing the prospect of the Europa League. And Jurgen Klopp's team are fighting on 4 fronts. That is some rebuilding job for a team that this time last year was struggling to string wins together. And they will believe that they can take a step towards Wembley tonight. 1, because their home record is almost perfect, and 2, because Fulham's form on the road is anything but. Fulham did cause a little bit of a fuss here just a few weeks ago, leading 3-2 in the 80th minute, only for them to push Liverpool into constructing another famous comeback. But even without Mo Salah, they had enough to outscore Arsenal at the weekend. But tonight, Trent Alexander-Arnold has joined the list of 9 absentees. This is how they start. Greben Kelleher is the goalkeeper, Conor Bradley at right back, Van Dijk, Konate and Gomez is the left back. McAllister plays in the base of midfield with Jones and Gravenberch, and Elliott, Jota and Diaz make up the trio of attackers. Leno is back in goal after Rodek stepped in for him in the game with Rotherham on Friday night. So Fulham have a back 4 in front of him of Castagna, Tosin, Diop and Robinson, who's another one of the 5 changes. Reid and Palhinha will hold in midfield, with De Cordova-Reid on the right, Pereira in the 10, Willian on the left and Jimenez up top. Dose of football medicine for you. Championship on 2, Premier League on TalkSport. Saturday we're with Fulham again as they head to near neighbours Chelsea. But now it's Wembley on the horizon. Our referee is David Koo. VAR? Well, there is none, because the EFL didn't think it was fair that Middlesbrough couldn't use one last night, so we don't use it tonight either. And we're off and underway with the white shirts and black sleeves and black shorts of Fulham attacking the Kop end, and all red of Liverpool attacking the Anfield Road end away to our left-hand side. And Dean Ashton is with me, a chance with 9 out, including statistically their most creative players, for someone in Liverpool red to step up and be the hero.
But this will be a test, and Fulham will take so much positivity from the performance that they had in the Premier League, scoring 3, causing Liverpool so many issues on the counter-attack. And how is young 20-year-old Conor Bradley going to cope? Taking over from Trent Alexander-Arnold, will he be up against the wily old Willian over on that far side?
Well, it'd be interesting to see if Fulham do target the flanks with Joe Gomez at left back, not his natural position, and Conor Bradley starting at right back tonight. And the ball's already out of play on this near touchline. Timothy Castagna in the right fullback position for Fulham, throwing it in and giving it to Harrison Reid. Reid gets it back to Castagna, and his attempt to get it forward is blocked by Curtis Jones, and in the right fullback position is out again for another throw. You're listening to TalkSport, where we play 1 minute 15 seconds of this Carabao Cup semi-final first leg live at Anfield for the right to play either Middlesbrough or Chelsea in the final at the end of February down at Wembley. Middlesbrough leading last night after a 0-0 victory over Chelsea. With the second leg to come live on TalkSport in 13 days' time. Here is Curtis Jones on halfway. The ball's just trickled out of play, and he gives it to Gomez to take a throw in front of Marco Silva. Jurgen Klopp is standing on the edge of the technical area, despite the fact that Pep Lijnders gave the press conference yesterday. He's very much in charge of this fixture. The ball tossed by Gomez towards the edge of the box. It's headed away by Issa Diop. He hasn't had too many opportunities to shine, but in the absence of Calvin Bassey, who's gone to Nigeria's AFCON squad, he starts alongside Tosin Adrabayo at the heart of the defence. The ball chopped forward by Fulham, out towards the left, and before Willian can get there, Bradley hooks it forward. It's further on by Elliott, headed by Diop again to halfway, and then it bounces on the edge of the centre circle for Harrison Reid, who almost just didn't get enough on it, and Jota threatened to pinch it, but he didn't close him down quick enough, and it was cleared by Tosin up over the halfway line. 0-0.
Now, just another point over on that far side with Harvey Elliott playing in the Mo Salah role. Well, Anthony Robinson will not wait. He will go when they have the opportunity. He is a flying machine, Robinson, down that left-hand side, and so Elliott is going to have to defensively help out his young teammate, Bradley.
I think since the beginning of the last season, he's one of the players that's produced the most crosses into the box. He is also a Star Wars fanatic, and on the list apparently of Liverpool's transfer targets, with Kostas Tsimikas and Robertson both having issues. Not necessarily sure that Fulham would be too happy to lose him during the January transfer window, and whether or not that would be a great move for him, bearing in mind there is a bit of a blockage there when those two players come back from injury. But he'll be keen to impress tonight. Here is Gravenberch trying to send the ball down the right side. It's cut out by Diop on the edge of the box. Robinson then from the left full-back position will steer it out of play, and it will go out for a throw-in midway inside Fulham territory. And Liverpool, well, I suppose all the talk is how they'll deal without Mo Salah, but Wataru Endo's role protecting the back four has also been vital in the last few weeks, and the two of them could miss up to 7 games if Egypt and Japan go deep in the AFCON and the Asia Cup respectively. I did speak to Jurgen Klopp about that on the last day that they were here. He said, yes, I've patted them on the back and sent them on their way and wished them all the best, but I didn't mean it. Here is Konate out to the right, into Elliott, moving into the near side, and then tries to flick the ball into the penalty area with his left foot, a diagonal ball which was aimed for Diaz. It's cut out by the Fulham defence, but Liverpool win it back again inside Fulham territory. Jones back to Van Dijk, who's returning from illness, into Jones again, who tries to get away from Decordova-Reid. There's a bit of space out on this left-hand side for Gomez, and McAllister didn't use it. Instead went centrally back to Konate, who was terrific, I thought, in the game against Arsenal. And then he edges the ball out to Conor Bradley. Back infield it comes, and Liverpool enjoying a lion's share of possession in the opening 5 minutes. It's a poor ball by McAllister, though, and it gives the opportunity to Fulham to come on the counter-attack, which they do. Jimenez into Pereira, who runs laterally and gives it back to the Mexican. He then runs into a sea of red shirts, and eventually Bradley will smuggle it back to Queven Kelleher for his first touch of the game.
Yeah, he just went the wrong way there. Jimenez needed to just check over his left shoulder. Willian was totally free on that left-hand side. Just looking at McAllister's positioning, he spoke in an interview a couple of weeks ago and said it wasn't his favourite position as Liverpool win it back.
Tosin's given it away cheaply, and Gravenberch has picked it off. Here's Jones running to the edge of the box. He shoots, and it's saved down low to his right by Bernd Leno on the edge of the 6-yard box, and he looked a little bit hesitant to get the shot away there, Jones, after the ball was given away fortuitously. Tosin a little bit sloppy, was pinched by Gravenberch, and very quickly Jones found himself in a shooting position, but he took a little bit too long to take it.
Yeah, he did. He really sized it up, didn't he? I think he was waiting to see if there was a pass on to Jota. Instead, he went for the shot, and it was an easy save for Leno. There wasn't the power on it. I think he was looking for some of the dip and didn't quite get it, Jones, but just shows Fulham have got to be so careful. That's where Liverpool are really dangerous when they win the ball back.
Pereira, just short of halfway, skips past the challenge of Jones and then runs laterally towards the edge of the centre circle. Castagna out to the right. Then he tries to just push it into the right channel, looking for the run of Decordova-Reid, but he hadn't anticipated that pass. Van Dijk had, and Liverpool mop up and clear to halfway. A little wrestling match between Jota and Tosin, but the ball runs loose and eventually it comes out to the near side. Jones again putting pressure on Castagna, who goes back to his goalkeeper, who's scurrying into the right full-back position, is immediately met by Elliott, but manages to clear before the pressure takes hold. But Liverpool win it back again as it goes high up towards Jimenez. Gravenberch is on the ball now, 6.5 minutes played, live on TalkSport. One attempt on target already for Liverpool in that first 7 minutes, and I think Fulham will be keen to make the most of this opportunity to take part in a Carabao Cup semi-final. It's the best experience Fulham have had in the League Cup. They've never won a major trophy. Runners-up has been their limit twice. Once in the FA Cup final of 1975 when they were beaten by West Ham, and Bobby Moore played in that final for Fulham. Their other brush with silverware, 2010 Europa League, they went to Hamburg and lost to Atletico Madrid Here is Gravenberch running to the edge of the Fulham box. On the left is Jones. Back to Gravenberch once again. Then infield it goes to McAllister, who scored his only Liverpool goal against Fulham. Up to the edge of the box and the reverse pass from Elliott. Then down the right from Bradley, who's broken the lines and sent across through the 6-yard box, which is maybe just not strong enough to elude Bernd Leno, but certainly called him into action. And he drops to his right, fumbles the ball and pulls it into his chest, and Fulham survive.
Yeah, beautiful combination. Mainly from Elliott, just the angles that he produced there, laid it off, made a little angle, just 90 degrees towards Conor Bradley, took it, reversed the pass into the young fullback's path, and then just got his head up, and there wasn't the movement. We saw Hackney last night against Chelsea just make that darting run across the front of the near post. We didn't see that. All three of the Liverpool attackers just stood there, hoping for a cutback.
I thought that was a delicious finish from Hackney last night, wasn't it? He just opened his body up beautifully and side-footed the ball into the open side of the goal. It was a really good finish by the youngster. Here is Decordover-Reid taking the ball out on the near touchline as he attempts to break into the right wing position for Fulham.
Just going back to McAllister's positioning in that interview that he said it wasn't his favourite position, and I don't think it is, and I don't think you get the best out of him there.
Jota onto Diaz, wants to reverse it back to Jota and succeeds. He's now on the left corner of the penalty area. Into the box he goes. His pass was poor, really poor, because they had a massive overload, Liverpool, at the far post with 4 shirts, red bright under the floodlights, bursting into the box, right on the edge of the deep far side, and no Fulham shirts anywhere near them. And it really, a better pass from Jota there, and Liverpool would have scored.
He just rushed it, didn't he? It was a heavy first touch, first of all, from Jota, and then just rushed the pass, and Anthony Robinson read it brilliantly and came across. But you're right, if it had just taken that extra second to get that head up and see as the picture is changing in the penalty area, he could then have picked the right pass, and it would have been a great opportunity for Liverpool.
Yeah, and Anthony Robinson, who in that piece that Alison Rudd was talking, we were talking about that Alison Rudd wrote today in the Times. She mentioned that he intercepted the ball 13 times in the game here back in December, and he was an integral part of the Fulham performance, as he already is. They're not a team that really sit back behind the ball and then just wait and sit and soak, but they might be pushed back a little bit more tonight by this hungry Liverpool team, determined to prove a point. An offside flag is up as the ball is drifted towards the box, and it's going to be a free kick right on the edge of the Fulham penalty area. We've played 10 minutes, and you are listening to Talk Sport. Liverpool's form has been particularly good. Their last away game at Arsenal saw them earn a place in the FA Cup 4th round, but the goals came late. They had to defend well and ride a little bit of luck, and their defence, as we were saying earlier, has been much better this season. They have the best defence in the league, and that's one of the reasons why they are top of the table at this moment in time. Caoimhin Kelleher, who has played more games this season than he has at this stage of any other, so he's had a lot of experience this campaign. Bowls the ball out towards the left and finds Van Dijk. Then Konate. He travels up and then stops and plays it square back to his captain Van Dijk tonight. He then gives it back again, and Liverpool bring the ball forward out towards the right. And Elliott, who tucks it back infield, and Liverpool quite happy to be patient and wait before it's flipped forward by Van Dijk into Jota, who thinks he's got the beating of Castagna down this left-hand side, chests it, brings it centrally, gives it to Jones. Jones looks up, again, just a little bit hesitant to get the ball in the box, then Gomez does exactly that, tries to deliver the cross, but his left foot isn't his most reliable, and it spins off and goes behind and away, straight behind for a goal kick.
No, that left foot's great for planting on the floor, ready for a right-footed cross, but not so good when he has to use that left foot, Gomez, so play to your strengths. Just pop it back to Jones, make sure that he can get the angle instead and make a different run. Instead, that was just a waste from a Liverpool perspective.
The former Anfield that Liverpool had is nothing short of magnificent. Bernd Leno's just slipped as he went to kick that ball. Is that Liverpool watering the pitch again? Is that what our Arsenal supporting producer is going to tell me in my ear now? He was banging on about that a lot tonight and earlier today. He wasn't happy about that. The other week when Arsenal came here and started, I thought, brilliantly in that match and only got a draw in the end against Liverpool. 13 gone. It's Talk Sport, and it's Liverpool 0, Fulham 0.
What Fulham are very, very good at out of possession is the angle in which they press with. So Pereira especially, I've just been watching him, and he's just, the angle he is looking for is to stop it going into McAllister. So therefore, the centre-backs can have it as much as they want. Here's Gomez again down that left-hand side, played in by Elliott. Elliott gets it back again and recycles it to Jones. Jones has got the opportunity here to put it in, but goes short instead, and then all the way back to Van Dijk, and they'll build from the halfway line. You were saying? Well, it stops it going into McAllister or even Gravenberch and Jones, and they're saying you can have the width. Not too afraid of balls coming into the box from wide areas, although Jota's excellent in the air. He is. But they haven't got a big, tall centre-forward in the box tonight, that is for sure. Although Diaz isn't too bad in the air either. He's got brilliant spring on him. Here is Canate on the halfway line. 0-0 the score on TalkSport. And I mentioned the former Anfield. Even when performances aren't perfect, they seem to dig out a result here. They pull it out of the fire, as Fulham have already experienced this season. The last team to beat Liverpool here at Anfield were Real Madrid in February. It takes something special to beat Liverpool at Anfield. Here's Gravenberch down the right, trying to release Conor Bradley. A little bit chaotic. Diop intervened and managed to clear. Chested down by Jimenez on halfway, and he's done well to sort of get it back to a white shirt, but it wasn't precise. And it goes into De Cordova-Reid, who's dispossessed by Gomez, but illegally so, and the free kick is given. I do remember Fulham giving Manchester City quite a game up until a decision went against them on the stroke of half-time, and they ended up sort of falling away after that, but they played really well for 45 minutes in that match. I mean, they are excellent at containing, like I said, with the way that they press, and nowadays as a forward, that's a decent ball. A bit better than that. Reid flies it out to the far side into Willian, and then Willian's ball onto Robinson was cut out by Conor Bradley, who recovered after initially getting caught out by the crossfield pass by Reid, and then up to Elliott it goes. Infield to Gravenberch, and then on to McAllister. Jones takes over and plays it out left, and Luis Diaz, and then all the way back to halfway, where it's with Joe Gomez once again. There was a little scare there, just a brief one for Liverpool. What Fulham might be capable of. 15 gone, 0-0 the score. It's only Liverpool who have threatened the goal away to our left-hand side. They've had 60% of the ball up until this point. Gomez back to Van Dijk, and then he swishes the ball far side. Good collection by Conor Bradley again, and then infield it goes to Elliott, that blonde-haired right midfielder tonight. Tries to turn on the ball, Conor Bradley, on the edge of the penalty area, loses out to Palhinha, who bounds forward, has it taken off him by McAllister. It's turned over well. Elliott stretching, helps it on to Jota, inside the area, right side, flashed it through the 6-yard box again, and there's no one to tap it home, and it hasn't gone out, and Diaz will continue to chase it. He keeps it in by the corner flag, turns it back towards the edge of the penalty area, gets it back off Jones, who plays a give and go with him. He drops deep, plays it left, and then Jones decides to funnel down that left-hand side. Tried to poke it through to Gomez, but it was stopped by a combination of Castagna. But then a little bit of a mix-up amongst Reid and De Cordova-Reid, and the ball eventually has to go out and away for a throw-in on this near side, 0-0. Really sharp one-touch play from Liverpool on the right-hand side. And Jota doing what so many centre-forwards do, is put a cross in that they would expect to be on the end of. It was a brilliant flash across the box. All it needed was, again, a Liverpool player to gamble in an area, and they had a tap in. Instead, it just went right across, and everyone reacted once the ball had been kicked, rather than being on the move early. Here is Elliott, far side the right. Tries to move towards the edge of the penalty area. He's got Jota in front of him, and he didn't push it in his direction before he was shut down by Willian. The ball goes into Van Dijk. A little back heel by Gomez sends Diaz away, and they like that. Ooh. Gomez into Jones. He popped that in beautifully, and it was cleared away and out towards the far side. You did that because it was a flick that came off, but it was one that was, let's just say, over elaborate, wasn't it? He will love that, Gomez, won't he? He'll feed off that. He won't love the fact that you were taking the mickey out of it. He'll feed off that all week.
It was just the over-exaggerated movement, wasn't it, that's done you. You've gone into a fit of laughter as a result. 0-0. You're listening to TalkSport. Liverpool's cup history is pretty good, especially in the Carabao Cup. It was the first final that Jurgen Klopp took Liverpool to. They lost to Manchester City on penalties. They did win it 2 seasons ago, again on penalties.
and they are looking to win the League Cup for a record-setting 10th time. They've had most of the ball in this game. McAllister gets it back out to Elliott. Over to the centre circle now, and Van Dijk, who strides forward unchallenged, gives it left to Gomez. I think he's adapted really well to playing in that left full-back position, despite the fact that even he would tell you that it's a little bit difficult knowing where your body should be because you're on the wrong side when you're trying to defend it. It's strange, but he's got used to it very quickly.
I mean, he's having to switch all the time, isn't he? And I think he's a centre-back, really.
Here is Harrison Reed pushing it forward into the path of Andreas Pereira, who comes forward, gets to the edge of the box and then tries to, well, I think he tried to chip that towards the far post and Jimenez, and then Kelleher and Konate got a little bit befuddled with one another. Konate took charge and just sort of stabbed it out on this near side and away for a throw-in.
Again, it was a good swift counter-attack from Fulham. Reed into Pereira. That ball was on to the back post to Jimenez. He just got it all wrong, and then you're right, that mix-up between centre-back and goalkeeper just allowed a few groans from the Liverpool support.
Gomez pushes De Cordova-Reid out of play. Doesn't get a free kick, De Cordova-Reid. And it's a throw into Liverpool down towards our left. It has taken Fulham a little while to learn how to compensate for the loss of Alexander Mitrovic. The Serbs scored 109 goals in 190 league games for Fulham. That's a lot of goals to try and find. They scored over half their season's goals, 16 of them, in 4 games in a purple patch between November and December. Here they might be on the attack though with Willian, who skipped past 3 challenges and he tucked it in at the near post in front of the Kop. After a mistake by Liverpool, had a throw in on this near side. They gave it away. Pereira ran into the box, squared it to Willian. He jinked past 2 defenders, including Virgil van Dijk, and popped it beyond Queeve and Kelleher. And I think those Fulham fans are pretty entertained now. They lead by a goal to nil at Anfield.
And that's what Marco Silva's Fulham do, is they press for those 4 or 5 seconds when they don't have the ball. It took them about 2 seconds for a loose pass from a Liverpool player and they are onto it. And they flooded the box. Pereira, it was that eventually got himself in behind Van Dijk, who couldn't challenge him because it could have been a penalty. Bradley slips, Willian's onto it. So swift. Lovely couple of dabs with his right foot from Willian just to get it into position, and then from underneath his feet he digs it out. It goes through to Van Dijk's legs and Kelleher cannot see it as it flashes past his left foot.
It's a terrible goal for Liverpool to concede. There's a multiple number of mistakes. The throw-in was poor. When the ball comes back to the edge of the penalty area, it's Van Dijk who heads it to a Fulham body. And then once they get into the box, it's far too easy for Willian to take on those Liverpool defenders, moving laterally from the middle of the penalty area to the right side to tuck it in at the near post.
Well, obviously Bradley slipping just allows Willian the opportunity to get hold of the ball. And then both of the centre-backs don't move. It's like they're frozen. Neither of them step out into Willian's path. They allow him to get out of his feet, and then once she takes the strike from so close in, well, if it goes through a defender's legs, the goalkeeper can't see it.
1-0 to Fulham. You're listening to Talk Sport, but here comes Elliott over on the right-hand side, playing the ball against the shins of Polinia, who dropped back into a defensive position, and it's out for a corner on the far side. And the Fulham fans, who are on the opposite side to where the away fans usually are here at Anfield. They're in the Anfield Road end, but they usually are nearer to us. They're on the far side towards the Segeni Dalglish stand, and just berating Harvey Elliott, who of course used to be a Fulham player. Left-footed in towards the near post, a flick on by Diaz. Comes back to McAllister, who shoots. It's blocked by Pereira. And then from about the midpoint of the Fulham half, Jones does a lovely little trick to get beyond Jimenez. Now Jota takes over, moves into the penalty area, lays a ball up towards the far post, and the volley by Elliott is from an offside position anyway, so it wouldn't have counted, and it goes behind and away for a goal kick away to our left.
No, but it was a teasing ball in, wasn't it? That had Fulham backtracking. It missed absolutely everyone. It was Jota that just floated it into the back post, and Elliott was probably onside, very, very close anyway, and as it came across, he's just tried to volley it, and he's slashed across it rather than meeting it with the laces outside of the foot, and it swung away.
Well, they love scoring here. In fact, a third of their away goals in the Premier League came in that topsy-turvy 4-3 game, which Liverpool won in dramatic circumstances. And they've scored again at Anfield, Fulham, and it's come from 35-year-old Willian, who was once a winner of this competition with Chelsea 9 years ago. And he has put the Cottagers in front. Free kick on halfway, and Polinia is preparing to take it, but he's quite happy to delay proceedings. Gets it back and shifts it to Issa Diop. Goes all the way back to the goalkeeper Bernd Leno, and then on to Tosin Adarabioyo, who clips it high into the night sky, and it drops, and it's away by Van Dijk. But again, not the most convincing header by Virgil van Dijk, who then commits a foul unnecessarily on Pereira, and he's going to get a yellow card.
Well, Pereira's gone down rolling around with his hands on his face. He feels as if he was properly clobbered by the elbow of Virgil van Dijk. You're right, he didn't win that first header, and then when it bounced, he just stepped in towards Pereira, and it's just whether he's really thrown the arm, which he certainly hasn't. I just think he goes to obviously put his arm across, and his hand onto Pereira's chin, and Pereira's overreaction is absolutely pathetic.
It's a yellow card though, isn't it?
For Van Dijk?
Yeah.
I guess in the rules of putting your hand up towards an opponent's face, yes, but you now can't put your arm across somebody to shield and win the ball without it touching a player's face. And honestly, the reaction from Pereira,
the history on it are extreme, but I think it is a free kick, and it is probably a yellow card. You disagree with me, don't you?
I just don't see any force at all in what Virgil van Dijk has done, putting his arm across. It's more of a hand than it is an elbow or a forearm.
Well, Andreas Pereira is getting back to his feet after a sustained period of time, getting the benefit of a replay. Well, I'm soft as hell. I wouldn't like Virgil van Dijk to put his forearm in my chin.
It wasn't forearm, it was a hand.
Andreas Pereira places the ball down and then leaves it for Willian. And I think Tosin is having a few words with Willian about the required delivery at this moment in time. Has Adrian sent from you a note about VAR?
Yes.
How could I tell? Liverpool lucky to have 11 men on the pitch, I suppose. We haven't got VAR tonight. Willian delivers the ball to the far post. Tosin Adarabioyo wins the initial header, and it's picked up by Kelleher and bowled out towards the near side. Now Liverpool accelerate and come forward at rapid speed, led by Gravenberch. They move over the halfway line. Bradley cuts infield, holds the ball up well, and then Gravenberch fires it towards the edge of the box, but it was aimless really from Gravenberch. It was a hidden hope really, and then it goes out over on the far side. Now, did he pick that up before it went out and has handball given? I think that's what it is.
Yeah, he was just too eager, wasn't he, Gravenberch? We're yet to see the best of him, aren't we, in a Liverpool shirt? We have to allow a player to acclimatise, of course.
He was still on the pitch and he just leant over and tried to grab it before it went out. It was a little bit, it was more than eager, wasn't it? Fulham have won their last 2 games, although the last one was against Rotherham in the FA Cup. They've lost 10 of the last 24 in all competitions this season, Fulham. But they're 1-0 up here against Liverpool, thanks to a goal from Willian after 20 minutes. And a bit like last night, we have a surprise result in the offing. Although just how much of a surprise last night's was, I'm not entirely convinced. Here's Jones on the halfway line. Picking the ball up and trying to nudge it forward to Elliott, who's coming from that right side out to the left. Fulham scramble it clear, and it's picked up by Kelleher, and it's into Konate.
Well, I think of the atmosphere we heard last night in Middlesbrough, it's a bit flat, isn't it, still?
Luis Diaz trying to burst in behind Tosin Adarabioyo, just gets across him and pushes the ball out of play over on the far side, and it goes out for a throw-in, which will be taken by Conor Bradley. 1-0 to Fulham on Talk Sport in the Carabao Cup semi-final. Then it's to Elliott, back out to Bradley again. Bradley trying to take on the defender Robinson, beats him, and then tries to take on Polinia. Good luck with that. And he comes across and nabs it for Fulham, and eventually they get it clear.
like the Fort Knox of the midfield, isn't he? Paulinho.
Oh, he's terrific, isn't he?
Just so good. And in those situations, those 1v1 situations, he doesn't tend to commit himself. So good at just waiting for you as an attacker to make a move before he does.
Yeah, his interview was brilliant actually in the build-up to this game. He was saying, look, yeah, of course, I know I'm going to leave Fulham at some point, whether it's this month, whether it's in the summer, whether it's when my contract runs out in 2028. I'll probably end up leaving at some point, but between now and the time that I do depart, I just want to do everything I can for this football club, and I want to get closer and closer, especially now, to silverware. I want to try and do something special.
Yeah, I think he should be commended actually for his performances straight after that as well. It didn't affect him the way it perhaps would have many players.
What, the move that broke down to Bayern Munich on deadline day?
Yes, especially going over there, probably feeling like it's done and doing some of the, you know, the things that players have to do now before they've even maybe signed the contract.
Here is Gravenberg over the halfway line, just right of the centre circle. It's on to Elliott. Elliott's got Bradley on the overlap. He didn't use him, he waited, and Paulinho was there again, just to nudge it out over on the far side. Tucked in by Bradley to Elliott, and then McAllister, who's the right centre of the middle part of the Fulham half. He sends it cross-field out to Gomez, who's on the left edge of the area. He heads it into the air. It was pretty poorly dealt with by Castagna, and then De Cordova-Reid has put some pressure on Jimenez. Van Dijk has then won it. The ball's bobbled around in the midfield. Fulham have come away with it, and Paulinho has released Willian far side. And Robinson, look how speedily he's gone darting down the left. The USA international again tries to get forward. Bradley tries to stick with him. He brushes him aside, produces a cross into the box. Van Dijk again with a very odd decision to go and engage when already McAllister was there to deal with it. Almost a mix-up in the Liverpool defence, and away come eventually Jones and then Diaz with the ball. Halfway line.
Just showed, didn't it, that real, genuine, electric pace of Robinson, and he doesn't wait. As soon as that ball was on its way to Willian, he was gone. And Bradley didn't quite have the pace to keep with him.
It looked like he was on Luke Skywalker's speeder there, the Jedi fan. Here is Diaz, edge of the box. His Twitter handle is Anthony Jedi, I found out today. Here is McAllister. Well, the forces with Fulham at this moment in time. They lead by a goal to nil. Half an hour played on TalkSport. And Liverpool have the ball just in front of the centre circle. Out wide to the left in Gomez. Gomez now on to Jones. Jones looking to take on the defender. Castagna comes infield, plays it to Diaz. Diaz back wide again. There's lots of Liverpool players in the middle, but there's not enough movement, I don't think, from those players to come and receive the ball. Someone's got to come and make an angle for a passer, then there can be a give and go to open up the Fulham defence.
And also, a little bit like Chelsea last night, is everyone wants to come to the ball. Nobody wants to just make a run that's maybe in behind, that's not beneficial to them, and they probably won't get the ball, but it might then open up the space for someone just to drift in to the space you've left. It's sometimes about the unselfish running that is going to get this Fulham team to step out of their organised defensive positions. 31, and it's 1-0 to Fulham at Liverpool in the Carabao Cup semi-final first leg. Gravenberg far side. Remember, no Salah, no Endo, and there are 9 players unavailable tonight, including Szoboszlai for Liverpool. Here is Konate, no Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's picked up a knock, hyperextended knee, which is going to keep him out for a couple of weeks, according to the assistant manager Pep Lijnders. Here is Gomez, left side of the attack, high up inside Fulham territory. Back to Van Dijk, and then centrally to Konate. Konate takes a couple of steps forward, and then didn't really expect the attention of Willian, poked it far side, and Bradley's got him out of a bit of a hole. Konate's got it back into Bradley, right edge of the area. Lovely touch into Gravenberg, sends the dummy to Harrison Reed, only half cleared. Back to Elliott, he thrashes it towards the near post, blocked by Robinson, goes out on the far side, and it's collected by Willian. Willian down by the corner flag, hemmed in by Bradley and Elliott, trying to get out of a tight spot and gives away a corner. Hold on, he's given a goal kick. It looked like a corner from here.
How is that possible?
But again, what a lovely, inventive flick from Bradley in that move. Just with the outside of his foot. Just flicked it in behind the Fulham defence. But he was
Jones, again, good defending. They're there in numbers, Fulham. They're going to make it so difficult for Liverpool.
We're just seeing a replay of another incident involving Virgil van Dijk, where he caught Raul Jimenez, and after being booked in the first half an hour of this game, he's got to be a little bit careful, I think.
You've gone VAR soft.
I'm just telling you what's happened. He's got to be careful, he's been booked. Don't tell me I've got VAR soft. I've been moaning for the last 3 months about it.
Got in all sorts of trouble. But they would have looked at that.
They would have done. I don't think there was a sending off, but...
No, and you should be allowed to challenge as a defender and make contact.
Absolutely, but it was a foul, and on another day, that might have been another yellow card. It probably won't be this time around. Diaz, because there's a mistake by Tosin Adarabioyo. Jota's got away, down the left, pulls it into the 18-yard box. It's steered away by Castagna, and it's out on this near side.
That's when Liverpool have looked the most dangerous, actually, is when there's been a turnover of possession, when Fulham have been sloppy. Tosin Adarabioyo there, the culprit. And once it was played into Jota, I think he did quite well in the end to actually drag this into a position. And again, the Liverpool movement wasn't great, and Paulinho did well.
Gomez, who has it on the near touchline, pokes it back to McAllister, and then it goes all the way back to Canate, and then out to Bradley on the far side, the right. 12 minutes before half-time, it's Liverpool 0, Fulham 1 on TalkSport. And remember, tomorrow morning when you wake up, we will have breakfast with Alan Brazil and Gabi Agbonlahor. Razor Ruddock is on the show. Mark Clattenburg is on the show. I'm sure he'll talk about VAR and the first year of the new head of the PGMLO, Howard Webb. And he's going to talk about Gladiators, apparently. New series coming out. Here is Curtis Jones down the left-hand side, spiralling away from Reed. Gets to the byline, couldn't keep it in. Now, did it go over the line out for a corner? I think he did. And the referee this time does give the corner in Liverpool's favour.
He's more than capable of that, Curtis Jones. He's a wonderful dribbler once he gets into his flow. He did really well to get all the way to the byline and win his team a corner.
Well, McAllister's going to take it. Liverpool need to try and find a way back into this game. 10 minutes before half-time. And he's played the corner into Jones, whose effort is eventually shot toward the near post, cut out by Reed, and it goes out and away for another corner, a second successive one for McAllister.
I wonder what Paul Scholes would have thought of that short one.
His Instagram has been interesting this week, hasn't it? Well, at least he speaks his mind. Here's McAllister, right under the goalkeeper, punched away by Leno, and it drops on the edge of the box. It's down and almost comes through to Jota, who feels he was fouled, and gets the foul 5 yards outside the box. I'm a massive Scholesy fan, me. Yeah. I love him. We once shared a flight back from a Champions League game, and it was the middle of September. And he said to me, he goes, oh, no, I can't believe I've got to sit next to you. I said, don't worry, I won't talk to you. Halfway through the flight, he starts talking to me about the research I was doing. He said, you're not doing another game, are you? I said, yeah. He goes, how many games have you done? It was middle of September or something. I said, oh, this is game number 22 or something like that. And he looked at me as if I was absolutely mad and should be taken away. And he said to me, you know, last night was my first one that I've done this year.
Quite laid back, isn't he?
He's a great character. He's a really good lad. Free kick on the edge of the box, 5 yards back from the edge of the 80. And what a footballer, by the way. 5 yards back from the edge of the area. And McAllister standing over it. And Elliott just to the right of him, could hit it left-footed if required. But McAllister, I think, fancies this. There's a four-man Fulham wall. McAllister strikes straight into it and then wins the second one. And then before he can get the ball back into a dangerous area, Anthony Robinson clears. Headed away by Castagna. Picked up by Jimenez. Jimenez turns and sends it out towards the left. Willian takes it on now, and he's got space to run into. He runs at Bradley, who times his tackle almost to perfection, really, and stabs it out over on the far side.
Yeah, wrong decision from Willian there. Again, in a good position. They've switched over to that left-hand side a couple of times, Fulham, where there is space. Willian, wrong decision to try and outrun Conor Bradley. Here is Robinson down the left into the edge of the penalty area, finds De Cordova-Reid, but before he can pull the trigger, Diaz is there and he jumps in and puts it behind. But again, the Liverpool defence just looks a little bit out of sorts, doesn't it? It was just a little hesitant, waited for the ball to almost come to De Cordova-Reid before they made any sort of reaction.
Slow to react. I mean, Gomez is 2v1 early in the move and he's not said anything to anyone. He's not said to Diaz, you've got to get back. Luckily Diaz does in the end, but really that should have been seen much earlier.
Virgil van Dijk came back from illness. He was out of that Arsenal game because of an illness. It doesn't look 100% to me. As the ball comes towards the edge of the box and Jimenez tries a strike which is blocked, it's smuggled out on this near side. It'll go away for a Liverpool throw. I just wonder if he is up to proper speed, because he just completely switched off. And they've given the ball away again on the edge of their own penalty area, and McAllister has to come across to protect. Now Gomez is holding off De Cordova-Reid. He turns, looks to play it forward, gives it to Jones. Jones gives it back to Pereira, and Fulham have it high up. And almost found William. Konate now, on the edge of his own D, encouraged to charge forward in Liverpool red. Up to Bradley, who engages the halfway line, stops in front of Reid, goes back in field, gives it to Konate, and he strides up over that halfway line, just right of the centre circle. He hesitates, then runs again, then pokes it wide. Doesn't have any clean contact on the ball. It was blocked by Reid, and then it bounces to Gravenberch. Now Elliott's got it tight to the touchline, midway inside Fulham territory. Back in field it goes. Now McAllister with his gloves on, nudges it back, and Liverpool have control with Van Dijk. 1-0 down and searching for an equaliser. Gomez, out on the left is Jota. Jota back into Van Dijk once again, and Van Dijk plays it infield, and it's given to Elliott. Elliott to Jota. Jota with space to run into now. Does just that, then holds it off, plays it into Diaz. Diaz felt he was being held by Tosin, and the referee doesn't respond to the very small smattering of appeal that was coming from behind the goal, and it's play on.
Yeah, and with the pace of the Liverpool attack, which is pretty pedestrian, it's pretty easy to get into good numbers for Fulham, to crowd the middle of the pitch, to say to Liverpool, are you going to cross some wide areas, which they haven't really done as such in the game. Fulham will be really, really pleased, Marco Silva, with the way that tactically he's set his team out. Pretty similar to last night with Middlesbrough and Chelsea, just to defend properly. Ball cleared by Leno. It wasn't the best of clearances, and Reid has made the most of it, trying to find De Cordova-Reid on this near side. It goes straight out of play. Remember, the game here earlier in the season finished 4-3 to Liverpool, but Fulham led for large portions of it, and they have had a relatively recent success here. A goal on the stroke of half-time from Mario Lemina earned them 3 points back in March 2021. Ball right side with Gravenberch for Liverpool, who's challenged strongly by Issa Diop, and it goes out for a throw-in on halfway, which is quickly taken. Elliott's got it now, but he's really deep on the halfway line. I think he wanted to try and send that out to this near side to Gomez, but it was well behind Gomez, and he couldn't control it, and it's gone out for a throw-in. I mean, it becomes contagious, doesn't it? The sort of slow, lethargic play that we're seeing from this Liverpool side. They've got to do everything quicker, so even just get the ball and take the throw-ins quicker. Just every single thing. If you're going to play it between Konate and Van Dijk, he's got to do with a bit of crispness. Everything just needs to have a bit more urgency from Liverpool's perspective.
Well, McAllister holding off the challenge of Paulinho. He does brilliantly, and he fed Luis Diaz, and then the referee David Coop blew the whistle and didn't play the advantage.
He's not a mind reader, though. Referees cannot always see that all of a sudden a player is going to play a wonderful outside of the right footed pass.
Liverpool have the ball back again. Infield it goes to Jones, being watched by Pereira. Then it's Konate. Out on the far side, the ball is played. Well, he's trying to play it down this near touchline, and then it goes out of play and away for a goal kick behind the goal away to our left. I think Marco Silva is getting more out of what he's got than maybe he did at the beginning of the season. Fulham haven't spent that much money. I think when they lost Mitrovic, others had to step up, but he has eked more out of those that were already on the roster rather than bringing
others in. He brought in Jimenez. It took a while to get him cooking. He gave Andreas Pereira a big pep talk, and he's upped his game a bit. Kearney, he was certainly getting more out. He hasn't used him tonight as of yet. Might use him later in the game. And Robinson, obviously, we all know about how good he can be. But goals have been a bit of an issue consistently. The other 12 goals, apart from the 16 they scored in that 4-game spell. Oh dear, Robinson being held inside the box by Konate there, who was really struggling to get back and deal with Anthony Robinson, who sped forward at rapid speed. And Liverpool just starting to look a little bit as if they're shaky and lacking in confidence.
Well, and it's giving Fulham confidence, isn't it? And once again, really good work from Reed, Paulinho's partner,
who wins the ball and sends it out to Willian, and then it's on to Pereira. Pereira turns and fires it out towards this right-hand side. It's headed down by Castagna, into the path of Jimenez, pokes it back towards Pereira. Pereira tries to roll his studs over the ball and shoots left-footed down the throat of Kelleher, and it's an easy save.
Again, good bit of play from Fulham on the break. Nodded in towards Pereira, took his time, drew it onto his left foot, decent strike, easy save.
I was about to say they scored 16 in 4, and then the other 12 goals they scored in the league came over 16 league games. So they had a splurge before Christmas, and they don't want another barren month. They can't afford a dry January, and they scored in the game against Rotherham, but it was only the one, and they've scored here. And one might be enough tonight because they've pressed and harassed and stopped Liverpool from creating opportunities, and they have managed to fashion a chance from which they've scored a goal, and they lead by a goal to nil, and that will be something to take back to the cottage if they can hold on to it. Diaz trying to get into the box, and before he can do so, Castagna turns it round. Van Dijk has given away another foul 6 yards outside the box after tussling with Raul Jimenez.
Gorgeous touch from Raul Jimenez, as Van Dijk thought he could win that ball, was anticipating where Jimenez would take the touch, and he took it on the opposite side, just cushioned it behind Van Dijk, and then swiveled, and Virgil van Dijk couldn't do anything but bring him down.
We're just approaching the halfway mark of this first leg. Leno slipped again as he went to kick it. It's gone out towards Jimenez on this near side, the right. He's held on to it. There are 3 minutes of added time. The ball pushed forward into the box, but easily picked up by Kelleher, and Liverpool look to bring it out. Bradley, over on the far side, back to Kelleher. He sends it into midfield. McAllister. But Konate with a ridiculous ball. I haven't got a clue what he was trying to achieve there. I think he wanted to fade it out to the left for Jota to run into, but he got it completely wrong, and he's acknowledging that fact, and he's just skied it out of play and away for a goal kick away to our left.
Yeah, if that was a golf shot, he'd be teeing up again. That was well out of bounds. Terrible, terrible attempt. He was trying to hit a raking pass over to Jota on this left-hand side, and it went out to the right of the goal.
Ball cleared by Leno, headed forward by Gomez. Liverpool will take encouragement from those statistics about the sheer number of goals that Fulham have conceded over the course of the season so far. But if they're going to concede a goal, Liverpool have got to create chances, and there haven't been too many of those. Just the one effort on target in this first half, and it probably should have been a foul. The referee hasn't given one, and he's allowed play to continue. Liverpool have got the ball. We're into the second 90 seconds at the end of 3 minutes of added time. Ball delivered to the back post by Liverpool. Bradley's ball is headed away by Castagna. Back into the mix it goes towards the penalty spot. Paulinho dropping in to head it clear, and then Reed smashes it over the halfway line and then chases his own pass to put Kelleher under pressure. Konate's got Pereira for company, and he's had a wobble. He panicked. As soon as the ball came towards him, he realised that Pereira was bearing down on him, and he had a proper panic up, didn't know what to do, looked a little bit like Bambi on ice, and then just kicked it out of play.
Well, he needed to realise that it was Pereira and not Adama Traore trying to run beyond him, and just have a bit of composure and back himself against Andreas Pereira. You're right, he did panic, and that's been a bit of a pattern
towards the end of this first half for Liverpool. Reed onto Robinson, down the left looking to get the better of Bradley. Bradley holds firm. Willian, the goal scorer, takes it on. He runs towards the corner flag, plays it against Conor Bradley, who is the first Northern Irishman to play for Liverpool since the 1950s, and it goes out of play and away for a throw-in. There's a collision over on that far side, and Willian seems to have got something in the eye. He's sorted himself out now. Thrown in towards the near post. Canate allows the ball to bounce. Kelleher comes to collect, and then there's a problem for Reed. They dispatch the ball upfield quickly. Tosin gets a header in. Elliott brings it down, pokes it forward to Jones, and Jones got space on this near side. Reed is still down inside the Liverpool box, but Liverpool continue their attack. It's flipped into the middle by Diaz, away by Diop. It comes back out towards Gomez, who shoots from the edge of the box. And after 235 appearances of senior football without a goal, there's no doubt that Joe Gomez is getting closer and closer and closer, and that was probably the closest he's ever come. It was just a yard wide of the right-hand upright. It brings to an end the first 45 minutes. Liverpool have only suffered one defeat in their last 13 games. That was a dead rubber with Union Saint-Gilloise in the Europa League. This is certainly not a dead rubber. It's a tie that is very much alive. At half-time in the first leg of the semi-final, it's Liverpool 0, Fulham 1.
And Harrison Reed still down in the Liverpool penalty area, receiving treatment from the Fulham physios. Doesn't look good. He's been down there motionless. He's just about coming to his feet now. Hopefully he'll be all right. And actually, that's a significant moment. That moment there where Canate just put it out of play, seemingly under very little pressure at all. I think that summed up Liverpool in that first half, because Harrison Reed had booted a ball out from his own area and chased it down himself. It went all the way through to Kelleher, who was out of his box. Virgil van Dijk didn't even attempt to step into Reed's way or try and block him off like defenders should do, just casually let him stroll past him. And he chased down Kelleher, who passed it to Canate, who then got panicked and put it out of play. Liverpool, Dean Ashton, do not look like a side that are top of the Premier League table. At times they look a shambles.
It's really strange to see that sort of lack of confidence, lack of urgency from a Liverpool side is what I would always look at being when they've been managed by Jurgen Klopp. Is always been urgent in their play, especially here at Anfield, and it's been surprising, very, very surprising, just how slow and fragile they've looked. And this will just play into the narrative that without Alexander-Arnold and without Mo Salah, what type of team are Liverpool? Well, that won't help that performance. That looks like a performance where they feel a bit sorry for themselves that they haven't got those talents to kind of get them out of trouble against a team that's really, really organised, not giving them an inch.
We highlighted an article in the Times pre-match written by Alison Rudd, which talked about Willian at 35, full of verve and unpredictability, tricky to shackle. Well, he's got the goal just by working hard, running hard, chasing things down, being dynamic, getting involved in the box, and eventually fires in a strike on goal, goes into the net. But talk to me about Virgil van Dijk, who used to be the #1 defender, probably in the world. He's been booked, possibly lucky not to get a second booking in that first half as well. His defending for the goal was not Virgil van Dijk defending.
I think that the only thing you could normally accuse Van Dijk of, and it's very rare actually, is that sometimes he can look too relaxed.
Too casual.
He can look as if, not that it's too easy for him, but that he's not at the right focus and level that you need to, and maybe isn't showing enough respect sometimes to the opposition. He's an amazing defender when he's properly focused and on it, but you're right from the off, he hasn't looked that commanding, aggressive Virgil van Dijk that you need to be to ward off the opposition. And you're right, too many times he's not shown that urgency in the defensive situation, and the goal was apparent. A mistake to allow Pereira in front of him. Then how can you stand and not move when Willian is taking 3 touches in the penalty area in front of you?
Well, if you freeze frame Virgil van Dijk as Willian's having the shot, that becomes a meme, doesn't it? That doesn't look good at all from a Virgil van Dijk point of view. Again, too casual and sloppy in what he's doing. Very odd. Just an update on Harrison Reed. He was holding his thigh as he hobbled off. I mean, he was proper hobbling off as well. I'll be very surprised if we see him for the second half. Comedy moment in the first half when Liverpool's Ryan Gravenberch picked the ball up for a throw-in before it had gone out of play. Free kick Fulham, Gravenberch, what a Burke. That was the comedy moment. The important moment was Willian's goal. And Fulham lead here by a goal to nil in this semi-final, live on TalkSport.
Kick-off on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18+, begamblerware.org.
I'm Mike Brewer, and while I may be a bit of a wheeler dealer, I never mess about when it comes to my car. At mymotorworld.com, we've got a lot with top car care products from the biggest brands like Carplan, Demon, Car Gods, and Zika. We even do free delivery on orders over 25 quid. Forget about being a wheeler dealer and get a great deal for your wheels. Order now at mymotorworld.com and quote car10 for 10% off your first order.
mymotorworld.com.
The Vodafone Big Winter Sale is now on. And you can save big too, with huge savings of up to 50% on your airtime plan. Available with some of your favourite devices. So hurry, these amazing offers won't last long. The Big Winter Sale ends 30th of January. Vodafone.
Credit check, saving verification and terms apply. Vodafone.co.uk/terms.
Gamers.
Creators.
Designers.
Coders.
Build your next gaming PC or laptop at pcspecialist.co.uk.
Do you like the sound of a KFC mini fillet burger, small popcorn chicken and fries for just $2.99? Of course you do. So, let's make this official. Let's shake on it. That's the bonus variety deal for just $2.99. Do the deal until the 4th of Feb. Only at KFC. Participating restaurants only. T's and C's apply.
At Barclays, we know money can be tricky to navigate. We're here to help you find your way around it. Like saving for a trip away. Because when you want a romantic weekend in Rome, you need to take care of the numerals. With savings goals in the Barclays app, you can set a target and see your progress. So you'll be ordering gelato before you know it. Search savings goals in the Barclays app. Barclays, make money work for you. Savings goals tool only available in the Barclays app with selected savings accounts. T's and C's apply. 16+.
Do you belong here? Next to me on an anti-poaching operation. 2 days drive from anywhere. What's your gut say? Want to change the radio station?
In sport this week.
Or jump in and keep us company. Still listening? You belong here. Army. Recruiting now. Search Army jobs.
Introducing Game of Gold from GG Poker. A brand new heart-pounding poker survival show where 16 poker pros battle it out for a massive $456,000 prize. Who will take all the chips? Who will be the last player standing? Catch up on this season's episodes exclusively on GG Poker's YouTube channel. GG Poker, the world's biggest online poker site. Verify at ggpoker.co.uk/landing/GOG. 18+, begamblerware.org.
1089 and 1053 medium wave. On your mobile and on your smart speaker. Talk Sport.
Well, you're listening to TalkSport live at Anfield Carabao Cup semi-final first leg. Remarkable half-time scoreline of Liverpool 0, Fulham 1, and we've just worked out that the half-time team talk in the Liverpool dressing room is Pep Lijnders going around punching every player square in the face. Let's see if it works, and let's get the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18+, begamblerware.org.
So Fulham 1-0 up here in Anfield against Liverpool. The away side of 33-20 to hold on to this lead and win the match. Liverpool 15-8 to turn it around and win. The draw is 9-5. Diogo Jota to score any time in the game was 9-4. That's been boosted to 5-2. That's the latest odds with Ladbrokes. 18+, begamblerware.org.
Odds update on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18+, begamblerware.org.
There's always drama in football. Whoever you support, chance to break through for Anjuni! That's brilliant! Wonderful finish. He makes it 3-0 for Burnley.
You just know that the beauty of the Premier League is that you never give up hope, you never lose belief.
And Adebayo has
now scored against Arsenal, Manchester City and Chelsea.
Oh my gosh, honestly, the Premier League, it never fails to deliver.
Brilliant. Cole Palmer rolls the ball under his stance to go past Thomas Kaminski.
Jimenez comes in and tucks it into the back of the net, and just like that, in a matter of minutes, Fulham have doubled their lead.
It's Premier League football, just the way we like it on TalkSport.
Well, it's your home of live football. This is TalkSport, and we've got Premier League commentary on Friday night, live and exclusive only on TalkSport 2 at the bottom three. Burnley taking on Luton. That's a 7:45 kick-off. Our coverage starts at 7. And then Saturday lunchtime, Chelsea against Fulham, 2 Carabao Cup semi-finalists. That's a 12:30 kick-off. Faker Others, your host for that one. Our coverage starts with game day at 11. It's live and exclusive and only on TalkSport. And a lot of championship coverage this weekend. Loads of commentaries. Hull against Norwich on Friday night on TalkSport 2. On Saturday lunchtime, it's a derby as Coventry take on the table toppers Leicester City at 3 o'clock on TalkSport 2. This one's not on telly. Cardiff Leeds, big grudge game in the championship, is live and exclusive on TalkSport 2. And then at 5:30 on TalkSport 2 on Saturday, Ipswich take on Sunderland. Don't forget Sam's Sunday session, 1:30 in the afternoon. It gets underway this Sunday on TalkSport. Bring you all the latest action from not just the Premier League, but the Women's FA Cup as well. As a championship game ongoing too. So loads to bring you on the Sunday session. And next week, Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll have FA Cup replays for you on TalkSport and on TalkSport 2. Talking of the Championship, if you want to go to the website, talksport.com, loads of transfer stories there. And one of them is that Liverpool's Fabio Carvalho has joined Hull City on loan. I've got to say, I mean, it's potentially one of the signings of the season. Hull City in and around the playoff places to sign a player of that quality. He's been playing in the Champions League for Leipzig, for heaven's sake. He had one season with Fulham in the Championship a couple of seasons ago. Fabio Carvalho then was a teenager, an attacking midfielder, and he got into double figures in goals as Fulham went up, and he was brilliant. So loads more transfer gossip and stories on the website, talksport.com. And a bit of managerial news for you as well. Phil Brown is the new manager of bottom of the National League, Kidderminster Harriers. He's already won a cup this season. He was in my team that won the TalkSport trophy at Millwall back in August. Why are people looking at me like it's not a serious trophy? That's a big one on my CV, that. Thank you very much. So,
did anyone get a yellow card?
Did anybody get a yellow card?
I just wondered, because you wouldn't know how to pay the fine for them.
Hey! I tried to encourage fair play with my team, and that worked. And may I just remind everybody, my team won it. I may retire on that, actually, and then retire unbeaten. Let me give you the scores around the country. In the EFL Trophy, the Bristol Street Motors Trophy, Blackpool have beaten Burton 2-1. Bolton are 2-1 up at Accrington Stanley after 70 minutes. They were 2-0 up. And in the National League, Chesterfield, who I saw very unlucky to lose at Watford in the FA Cup third round on Saturday at Vicarage Roads, conceding a winner against Watford deep into injury time. 4-0 up at half-time against Gateshead. I think there's little doubt that Chesterfield, there's going to be something gone seriously wrong if they don't win the National League and get automatic promotion this season. Will Grigg's got a couple. He's on fire. Tom Naylor, the skipper, and Michael Jacobs in first half injury time with the other goal in that game. Chesterfield 4, Gateshead 0 at half-time in that one. Here at Anfield, it is Liverpool 0, Fulham 1. Dean Ashton alongside me. Let's just praise Fulham. We've been talking, in your commentary, you've been talking about João Palhinha, and I mean, what do you call him, Fort Knox in midfield. He's unbelievable. Works so hard for the team, intercepting, tackling, just hassling opponents, and when he gets the ball, he uses it well.
Yeah, when you talk about a defensive midfielder, for me, he's right up there with the best in the Premier League, if not in European football, because he does the job of what I would expect a defensive midfielder to do, which is to be so alert to any danger, to read and intercept dangerous passes into his area, and be very, very aggressive and combative. And then add on to that, when he does get it, he's got lovely quality, finds a teammate. He's such a terrific player and so important to this Fulham side. And they've set up brilliantly defensively, and they are a real threat on the break. And I think they'll take so much positivity, but they'll know what this Liverpool team are capable of.
And they'll know there may be players on the bench that Liverpool can bring on in this second half that might possibly make a difference as Liverpool come out for the second half. Waiting for the Fulham players. Just a quick word, you may have heard some booing. When there's a Fulham goal kick, the Liverpool players are right on Bernd Leno's back, trying to alert the referee to some time wasting. Well, I timed a couple of those goal kicks on 42 minutes. 4 seconds it was from Leno getting the ball to the first booing from Liverpool fans, and there was angry barking from the Liverpool fans after 13 seconds, which was when he took the kick. On a 45, 3 seconds there was booing, 11 seconds it took to take it. He's not wasting time. He may do as this second half wears on, but at this moment in time he's not wasting any time. Fulham are out. Willian, the goal scorer. I've just had a message from a Chelsea sporting friend of mine. Willian is better than Sterling. Discuss. Here's your second half. Live on TalkSport. Liverpool 0, Fulham 1. Here's the former England striker Dean Ashton alongside Sam Matchpace.
If you get a second yellow card in the same match, it's a £35 fine, and you have to pay a £15 administration fee, Adrian. Unbelievable. And we're underway at the start of the second half. And Liverpool, who are unbeaten in 23 home matches, need to find a way back into this game. They trail by a goal to nil, but they've made no changes at the start of the second half, so they still have the goalkeeper Kelleher, then the back four as was, and they're coming forward with Diaz on the left-hand side, moving towards the edge of the penalty area, right-footed cross, which is chipped into the box, the back edge of the area, marshalled by Willian. He heads it clear. Gomez then tries to go forward, but didn't have the quality to steer it to a red shirt, and then Jimenez tries to escape over halfway, and Konate gets it back to his goalkeeper. The right-back is Bradley in front of Kelleher, the two centre-halves, Konate, Van Dijk, and then the left-back over on the far side is Gomez, who's just sort of wandered into a midfield position when Liverpool got the ball now. And McAllister has it in the centre, and then in front of him he's got Gravenberch and Curtis Jones. Elliot, Jota and Diaz make up the Liverpool formation. It's Bernd Leno in goal for the away side, who lead by a goal to nil. Fulham. The right back is Castagna, then it's Tosin, Diop and Robinson, Palhinha and Reed. De Cordova-Reid on the right-hand side, the left marshalled by Willian, and Andreas Pereira is just behind Jimenez in that white shirt with black sleeves and black shorts as Gravenberch pinches the ball from Palhinha, then shoots towards goal, takes a deflection, dribbles behind. The referee said no foul when Palhinha was pretty demonstrative about trying to get one, and Leno has the ball away to our right-hand side. Are you surprised that Liverpool haven't changed it up?
Well, we spoke and you were strong on the point that he might make a change. He probably should have done with that first half performance, but as so often is the case, managers like to give those players the opportunity, 5-10 minutes, whatever it may be, to make the change themselves in the tempo, in the style, in the focus. And he knows he's got the likes of Gakpo and Nunez whenever he needs it.
Yep, those are the two only real senior players on the bench, though, aren't they? You know, the rest of them are all kids that have played a few minutes here and there for Liverpool. Nunez and Gakpo are the current players warming up away to our left-hand side for Liverpool as they look to build up over on the far touchline. Shooting towards the Kop in the second half in red shirts, red shorts and red socks with white trim. And it's taken by Virgil van Dijk out to Konate. Infield it goes. It's collected now by McAllister. Liverpool who need to speed the tempo up, I think. Out wide to the right. Bradley moves up towards the right angle of the penalty area. Into Elliot. Bumps it back to Konate. Again, it's all a little bit slow and pedestrian. And then Elliot's ball imprecise. Pinched by Robinson, who does everything on fast forward. And it goes out of play on this near side. He'll be delighted to learn that Ahsoka has gone into Season 2 production today, I hear. Here is Van Dijk. Infield. Towards McAllister, looking for Gravenberch, who's just broken the lines here, and he moves into an advanced midfield position, edge of the D, twists, then shoots, and looks for the bottom corner and misses it by a yard. Well, he's only ever scored in the Europa League for Liverpool, but he was so close to scoring his first goal in the League Cup there, with a lovely little twist and a shot from the edge of the box.
Yeah, great bit of play from Gravenberch. Just faked to shoot with the left foot, chopped it back past Palhinha, and then opened it up as if he was going to go to the far side, and he'd done Bernd Leno because he just stepped to his left the Fulham goalkeeper, and then he arced it to the right-hand corner of the goal and just overdid it, and it dragged slightly wide. It was a decent effort though from Gravenberch.
Arguably the best bit of football we've seen from Liverpool tonight. 48, nearly 49 on the clock. Ball cleared upfield, high into the air by Bern Leno. Interception from Bradley, who tries to square it. Elliott will profit from a mistake by Polinia. He runs into a congested midfield, shoots, takes a deflection, comes through to Jota. Surely he's got to finish it. He waited too long, and by the time that he did, it was blocked by Castagna and smuggled out wide by Fulham. Energy certainly up though as far as the Liverpool crowd are concerned. Still some rather sloppy passing going on, and Diaz has just lost the ball as Gomez prodded it in his direction. Gomez shuts down Reed, it goes out for a goal kick. But that's a massive chance for Diogo Jota, who should have scored.
Yeah, look, it's very, very difficult. He's not expecting it. It's a massive deflection that puts it into his path. But he just has to move very, very quickly. He doesn't get the right touch. It just gets ahead of him with the touch with his left foot. To be fair to Castagna, he does brilliantly well to spot it and just come across and get his body in the way.
Here on the near side, the ball with Elliott once again, who has to nudge it away from Willian. I mean, I think we pointed out before the game, there have been some sizable Liverpool wins in this fixture, but recently it has been very tight between the two. A maximum of 1 goal has separated them in each of the last 6 meetings, dating back to 2018. That's a poor ball forward again by McAllister, another poor ball forward, and then a poor ball back by Willian, who tickles the ball straight out of play and away for a corner in front of the Kop.
The ball was shaped like a triangle then, wasn't it?
or a couple of feet were. Corner on this near side, and it will be drifted in by Elliott. There's a congested back edge of the 6-yard box for Liverpool to try and attack. Ibrahima Konate comes towards the near post. It's a poor delivery, but comes out to McAllister, who rifles it forward. It's blocked by Pereira. Out to the left it goes. Diaz takes over. Left edge of the area. It's onto Jones. Jones with a right-footed shot, and again it's straight into the goalkeeper's arms. And Van Dijk immediately looks over and says to Jones, you need to do better than that, as Pereira, who did get one right in the body from McAllister, urges the trainer to come on. And then the referee calls the trainer on. Pereira's back to his feet. Now, he doesn't want the trainer to come on because he has to go off for 30 seconds if that happens. But the referee has said, well, you know, if you're going to go down for that long, you're obviously in pain. So let's make sure that you're okay, and then you can go off the field for 30 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
That'll stop your time wasting.
Exactly. Well done, the referee, David Coote, because Deco-Dover-Reid was waving to his own physios to say, don't come on, don't come on. And the referee said, no, come on you come. You've asked for the trainer, you're down, you're hurt. Pereira gets himself up, and he's obviously absolutely fine. It's exactly what we want to see from the referee.
1-0 to Fulham. You're listening to TalkSport, and it's been a better first 6 minutes of the second half, but Liverpool have had all of the ball at the start of this second half, and they've certainly caused more problems for Fulham away to our right-hand side.
Yeah, just a slight change, isn't it? Gomez, has drifted into midfield when Liverpool have got the ball. I think they're just trying to get that extra player in midfield against the Fulham 3.
Yeah, just the extra player in the build-up to try and be a little bit more assertive as the ball ricochets almost kindly for Deco-Dover-Reid, followed away by Van Dijk, and out of play it goes over on the far side. Liverpool 0, Fulham 1. We could have a scenario here where Middlesbrough and Fulham go into the second legs of these games with a slender advantage. Now, the substitution that I thought was going to happen at half-time is going to happen just 7 minutes after half-time. Gakpo and Nunez about to come on. Here, the ball is with Liverpool far side. They've won a free kick because of a tackle by Reed. And Pep Lijnders just walking over to the fourth official and explaining who he would like to be programmed into the board. Who are we going for? Nunez and Gakpo on. Who's coming off?
Gravenberch and Elliott.
Interesting. Nunez is the cry from the Liverpool crowd as they look to build up through the centre circle. Into Elliott. Lovely little turn and spin. Diaz wants it played into the box. It was shut off by Castagna, who covered it well. The idea was right. The execution just a little fraction too slow.
But that's exactly the type of defending that's so important against the Liverpool side. Two defenders acting like the doors of a tube station, just slamming shut. It was just brilliant. Honestly, Castagne spotted it, so did Tosin, and they just squeezed together and just intercepted that pass that looked for a second as if it was going to be so dangerous.
That's a brilliant analogy. I lost my shoe on a tube station the other day because of that. I was crushed in and I had my foot behind me. The doors slammed shut and they took my Nike trainer off. Here is Canate on the halfway line. Back to McAllister. Into Joe Gomez, who strides forward and pushes it out to the left. It's collected by Luis Diaz, whose cross is a poor one straight into the arms of the goalkeeper, Leno. Too high, above everyone in red, and straight through to the German.
Well, let's see now which players are going to turn to the substitutes bench and with a horrible look on their face.
Another mistake, this time by Castagne. The ball goes out of play and Liverpool want to get on with it quickly. Diaz doesn't want to waste any moments. Jota trying to turn inside the box, plays a give and go, gets it onto his left foot, did threaten to shoot, didn't, then when he did it was blocked by Robinson. Well, again, maybe just took on one touch too many there. But Elliott's won it back, right side. He's got William for company. He plays it against the Brazilian. It goes out of play and away for a throw-in in the right full-back position. I think these players know that they're under threat. Gravenberch is coming off, as predicted. And the other one who's going to come off is Harvey Elliott. Spot on, Dean Ashton. Should do this for a living.
A star. I think it needs to happen, doesn't it? Wreck-It Ralph, as I like to call Nunez in a loving way. He just causes absolute chaos. He doesn't do things in the orthodox way. He's got pace, he's got power, he's got ability. He just needs to find that inner confidence that he brought from Benfica. And Gakpo's taking a while, I think, to settle.
1 goal in 15 for Darwin Nunez, but he does bring the chaos, that's definitely true. And whereas Cody Gakpo actually has got 4 goals in his last 6 appearances at Anfield, but I think you're right, there's room to impress for him. Ball has run loose on halfway, and Jimenez has now tried to escape. Ibrahim Canate is coming back to try and stop him. It's onto his right foot, and it peppers through the area, and it's away by Gomez before De Cordova-Reid can get there. That was a chance.
He didn't move though, De Cordova-Reid. He didn't anticipate. He didn't predict that the ball might just come his way, so he didn't step in front of Gomez. Gomez did well to keep the angle and was able to clear.
1-0 to Fulham, 57 on the clock, live on TalkSport tonight, the Carabao Cup semi-final first leg. When you wake up tomorrow morning, Alan Brazil will be there. If you fancy something different, Chris Evans is on Virgin Radio from 6:30 tomorrow morning, and we'll take your calls on the sports bar straight after we finish tonight in the Carabao Cup. Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy, 03717 223344 is the number to call. Sports bar on from 10, and hopefully we'll have Klopp and Silva live into that programme, or certainly in that programme at some point. 57 on the clock. Here comes Liverpool once again, looking for the equaliser, trying to find a way past the Fulham defence that has held firm so far despite 11 goal attempts from Liverpool. Only 2 of them have been on target. Both of them tame efforts into the arms of Bernd Leno. McAllister, forward to Nunez, whose touch was poor. It bounces off him, and as a result, Fulham are able to clear. They get it up into the centre circle. Pereira pokes it forward, can't find a pass to Willian. Interception comes from Canate, and Liverpool turn it over again.
That was the only thing I think probably Marco Silva is bothered with. They have had those little opportunities, those openings on the counter-attack if the first pass is right. And time again, they've just been blocked by a Liverpool defender.
This is a resilient defensive display by Fulham at this moment in time. Jota sends it on to Gomez. Gomez in the centre trying to play it back again. Half cleared by Polinia. And there's Liverpool who will win it back with McAllister. And Kelleher will sweep up in front of us. Here is Van Dijk, slipping the ball out wide to the left. Nunez goes on the chase. He's followed by Tosin Adebayo, down by the corner flag. He holds it up well and then tries to bring it infield, the Uruguayan. Little turn, a Cruyff turn to get some space for the cross. Another one, delivers a cross into the box. Again, it's too close to Leno. It's caught beautifully by the German, and he's bowled it out really quickly to Willian, who scampers upfield, cuts across the body of Gakpo, then eludes and evades McAllister. A brilliant little run, pokes it out towards the wide right. Decordova-Reid, back to him by Pereira. Decordova-Reid's cross into the box, and Ibrahima Konate puts it behind and away for a corner. And he was more likely to finish than Jimenez, who'd just given up the ghost.
Super break though, wasn't it, from Fulham? Willian all the way out to that right-hand side to Decordova-Reid. Quick 1-2 with Pereira, who's in behind Gomez. Tried to play in. It was a brilliant ball. Once again, though, Jimenez had decided, I'm going to stay at the back post. And the ball went too low. And Konate, you're right, just almost used his midriff just to steer it behind.
Pereira to take the corner on this near side. Will deliver the ball into the box. And he does so, and it's flicked away by Konate, out towards the near touchline again. Pereira recycles it, gives it to Jimenez, whose Rabona cross ends up in Stanley Park. Oh dear.
Oh dear, oh dear. Actually, I saw him do it in the warm-up, trying to shoot, and he missed.
So he decided to do it again. 1-0. And we've hit the hour mark now. And Liverpool yet to get back in the game, if they are to get back into the game. Gakpo runs into Paulinho, who's like a big whitewashed wall in front of the defence. Up to Konate. Konate back to McAllister. And then across comes Van Dijk. This is Curtis Jones, just left of the centre circle, looking for a way through. It's then prodded out towards, from Van Dijk to Konate. And Konate then finds Bradley. Bradley moves it infield towards McAllister, who's just had to occupy a rather sort of deep space in front of Pereira for most of the game. Has had not much influence on it. Ball sent wide towards the right. Gakpo has received it now, down by the byline, across into the box, which is easily dealt with by Paulinho again. He seems to be everywhere at the moment. Back to Anthony Robinson, who hooks it clear. And on the halfway line, it will bounce, and they will leave it again, Liverpool, which seems to be their trading stock. And then it's played out by Willian into space for Decordova-Reid, who can't control it. And it goes out towards the far side. He then brings it back, tries to centre it, takes a deflection, Kelleher grabs it.
That is a huge opportunity. He was completely free, Decordova-Reid, as Gomez gets dispossessed.
Who by?
All right, I don't know why I even went to say it.
Paulinho. Here is, I think he's terrific. I've been talking about him for the last year or so. I just think he's just an amazing footballer. And I'm very, very, very surprised that someone didn't pinch him in the summer, and it took to the last day of the window for Bayern Munich to do that. He's the kind of player that all the top clubs could do with. Liverpool could do with. Nunez chasing down a loose ball inside the Fulham half. Didn't work out for him on that occasion.
But that, just going back to that opportunity, the ball across towards Decordova-Reid, who's into it again.
He is it again, down that right-hand side. Can he make a better fist of this one? Gets into the box and then shoots, and it's saved by Kelleher. I mean, he was never really going to beat Kelleher from that sort of range.
No, it was so greedy from Decordova-Reid. Just get your head up. All it needed was that pass across to Pereira, who's totally free. Just selfish, greedy play.
Dear oh dear, Liverpool got into slow-mo. They are becoming a little bit lethargic, and the crowd here getting a little bit frustrated with their lack of pace in their play. They've had loads of opportunities, but not enough on the target of the goal, and as a result, are trailing here. Diaz, who needs to try and find a little bit of creativity. Someone's got to step up. Nunez, oh dear. His square ball goes straight to Decordova-Reid, and it's easily cleared. And then Jimenez picks it up, gets out of a tight red knot, pokes it forward, and gives it straight back to Liverpool. He could have played that ages ago out to the near side, and Willian, and didn't. Jones taking matters into his own hands. There's Paulinho again, and there's a late challenge by Decordova-Reid, which probably deserves a yellow card.
Yeah, it was late, wasn't it? Decordova-Reid Not sure he is going to receive one though. Lovely jinking feet from Diaz, just to get away from him.
Well, it's provided a free kick for Alexis McAllister to take. Liverpool, who trail by a goal to nil, have survived one or two counter-attacks where choices have been wrong by Fulham. You know, De Cordova-Reid actually has made a couple of bad choices in the last couple of minutes when attacks have come his way. 64 on the clock. What can McAllister conjure up here? He's got 6 to aim at in the penalty area. Nunez is one of those. In towards the near post it goes, but it's just too high for the Uruguayan. And it's an easy pick-off for Bernd Leno again.
Yeah, that's the ball, though. That one that's slightly flatter, though, to give the striker a chance to just get ahead of Bernd Leno, get a tiny touch, and it goes into the goal.
He's come off the bench and changed games before for Liverpool, Darwin Nunez. He scored twice away at St James's Park when the game looked to be going against Liverpool. This game certainly is going against them. They trail by a goal to nil in the Carabao Cup semi-final. And at the moment, Fulham are rather happy with taking this back to Craven Cottage.
And you would say, actually, they've had the opportunities, really, to make it too. I mean, whatever happens in this game, those opportunities have been there and they just haven't been clinical on Fulham. Conor Bradley and Gakpo win the ball on the near side. Willian comes across the throw into Liverpool. Now, Liverpool's second half showings have been pretty positive. The Anfield crowd always know their team get better as the night goes on. They've scored 27 goals this season after the 76th minute. And they've won a free kick on the edge of the box. Conor Bradley trying to go beyond Paulinho, who left the foot out for him to run over. He did, and the free kick is given. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant from Conor Bradley. Had no right to get anywhere near a free kick. Lovely little nutmeg on Paulinho. And that is one thing about him, Paulinho. If he is eventually beaten, well, he'll just drag you down anyway.
He's picked up a few cards in his time, hasn't he? Here is McAllister's delivery from the wide right. It's about a step outside the penalty area, right on the edge of it, right side.
Willian's not even in line with the goal from our point of view.
Yeah, so he could just shoot it towards the near post if he wanted. He doesn't, he goes low, and it's terrible, and it hits the hand. And the referee says no penalty. Well, I don't know what they were doing there, but that looked to me like, out of the two of them, and Robinson was certainly involved, it struck a hand that was away from the body. I'd like to see it again. It's gone out for a corner eventually.
Well, Robinson's gone to stoop to head it, and he's missed it, and it's just hit his arm that's dangling there by his side. But the fact that he stoops to head it and it hits his hand, I mean, we won't use the words, but I'm pretty sure that would have.
If we were in the Champions League, what would have happened there?
Oh, that would have been a penalty.
Right. But common sense dictates that it should not be. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. That's not a penalty from my perspective.
Here on the right side, the ball goes back into the box. It's tipped over the top by Leno. After McAllister's initial corner was repelled, his second ball into the box went under the crossbar and Leno had to react.
Well, I think if it had dropped into that far corner, McAllister would have claimed that he meant it. He didn't. He was crossing it.
Here is Jones, back to Gomez. He is also trying to cross it. He also doesn't manage to do it with any real poise. It was another one of those left-footers that ended up being shanked into the air.
It's just about decision-making from Joe Gomez's point of view. I don't think there's any doubting his defensive ability, but if he is going to play fullback, he has to make better decisions than that, and he also has to have better quality.
Perfect performance from Fulham up until this point. They lead by a goal to nil. Here's Diaz playing it to Jones, edge of the box. He shoots, it takes a deflection, it goes in at Liverpool level. Liverpool level in the semi-final. Curtis Jones's effort from inside the box takes a deflection, evades Bernd Leno, and gets Liverpool on the scoreboard. I think it might have been Tosin who it struck. He's walking away, shaking his head. Jones is celebrating. The crowd inside Anfield are celebrating because Liverpool have pulled a goal back and it's 1-1.
Well, they haven't deserved it, Liverpool, but they have got a massive stroke of luck here. It's Jota that's energetic and wins the ball back. Lovely touch back from Darwin Nunez. And then Jones sizes up the shot. And I'm sorry, but as a defender, as a centre-back, if you turn your back on the ball when you're trying to defend it, shame on you. Tosin Adarabioyo does that. He turns his back, it ricochets off his back and past Leno.
And now the Red Arrows are darting forward, led by Cody Gakpo. He gets felled by Polinia but gets up. Bradley takes over. Jota's got it, turns and shoots. And it's over the bar from the edge of the D. And he had the opportunity there to play that ball wide, decided not to, and went for glory. And again, decision making.
I mean, it's a huge amount of luck. Jones, I'm not even sure whether the shot was definitely going to go on the target. But like I said, if you turn your back as a centre-back, there's no excuse.
That was poor, really, wasn't it? And it goes flying beyond Bernd Leno. And as a result, Liverpool back on terms. 1-1 the score at Anfield. And a couple of changes incoming, including the former Liverpool player Harry Wilson, Tom Cairney coming on too, just to add a little bit more poise in midfield, I think. McAllister getting into a little bit of a scrap with Reed. The ball goes wide to the right. Castagna picks it up now and he chips it down the wide right, headed away by Gomez, and then infield it goes to McAllister. And now Nunez with space to run into, goes up and goes past Paulinho, but Paulinho then stands his ground and he runs into him, and the ball gets turned over again. 20 minutes to go.
It's given this crowd a huge lift though, isn't it? You can just sense it. That's what happens here.
Second half performances, mate. Second half goals. Little deflections, even when they aren't their best. I mentioned it in the first half, they get something, they find a way. Here's Jota, moving towards the edge of the box. Nunez into the centre. Gakpo is there, and they've turned it around. In front of the Kop, Nunez down the left, into the penalty area, cuts it back to the edge of the 6-yard box. Gakpo turns, smashes it in, and scores once again at Anfield. It's his 5th goal in his last 7 appearances here. And the substitutes have combined to turn the scoreline on its head. 1-0 down just 5 minutes ago. Liverpool lead by 2 goals to 1.
Well, there's just something that can't be quantified. That Kop end sucks the ball in time and time again. The atmosphere's changed, the players changed from Liverpool. It's a brilliant move. It's out to the left-hand side to Jota, who just sees Nunez make a run off the back of Castagna, flashes it across the 6-yard box, and I've been going on and on and on about players making a move before the ball has gone. And Gakpo just makes a tiny little dart to his left-hand side in front of Diop, and it's a brilliant finish. The pace is on the ball, he just opens up his left foot, let it hit the inside of his foot, and it was flashed past Leno before he could even dive.
No one in this team now has scored more goals for Liverpool this season than Cody Gakpo. 9 goals alongside Diego Jota, of those that have been left behind in this January period where internationals have been called up. Willian comes off, Harry Wilson comes on, and Harry Wilson is joined by Tom Cairney on the field of play. The other substitute, who else has come off?
So
Willian's off. 2 have come on. The other one that's gone off is
Pereira.
Andreas Pereira, the number 10, on this near side, just taking his seat now. Here is Wilson inside the box, right-hand side. So Wilson goes out to the right. I think Reed will probably come to the left and Jimenez go through the middle. Tom Cairney will play as the number 10 position, with Reed and Paulinho still patrolling in front of the back 4.
Yeah, I mean, he wanted to make that change before that second goal. But they're just a team that, once they do get that first goal, just the energy levels of the Liverpool players, all of a sudden Fulham looked fatigued when they were defending.
18 to go, and the ball's on the right with Conor Bradley. Now a chance to power away from Fulham for Liverpool. Bradley gets it back from Gakpo, edge of the area, ball down by Reed, free kick.
Yeah, he's growing into the game, isn't he? Conor Bradley, bit more freedom. Fulham not tacking down the left as much, and he's starting to really grow into the game.
Well, you remember that on Sunday afternoon, Liverpool required a half-time reshuffle. The reshuffle came just a little bit after half-time today. Elliott moved to a number 8 role, Gakpo to a number 9, Diaz switched from left to right, Nunez went from 9 to left wing. That happened on Sunday. Today, they moved it around again with the introduction of Gakpo and Nunez, and it's had results. Nunez and Gakpo combining for the goal that's put Liverpool in front, and they lead by 2 goals to 1 against Fulham, who I think will probably be a little bit disappointed about the concessions of both those goals and how they reacted after the first one went in, the deflection off Tosin. I wonder whether he could have done better as Gakpo made that move in front of him for the second goal. 74 on the clock. Nunez fancies a go from range here. He's got a wall with a few holes in it in front of him. Leno to beat as well. He steps up, right-footed, goes down the middle of the goal, and it's over the top of the crossbar. And it would have been covered by the goalkeeper. How'd it be on target?
Yeah, not the best from Nunez. We could see we had a great angle from the position that we're in, directly at Leno's goal. Nunez just didn't get it either side of the Fulham goalkeeper. But you're right, Adebayo could see Gakpo. There was nothing obstructing him. Diop as well. And you've got to spot that danger and you've got to cut out the cross. Ball clear from the far side by Fulham, who were under the cosh there. They tried to play out from the back, and Liverpool's press just unsettled them. And Liverpool, who have grown into the game, the longer it's gone on, got a little bit of luck and then built upon that, have now somehow gone from 1-0 down to 2-1 up. Be interesting to know exactly the number of minutes in between the 2 goals. 3 minutes in between the 2 goals. Amazing. What a change it was. And change in mood inside Anfield, who are still yet to open fully that stand away to our left. I mean, there's a lot more people you can get in here now, up to around about, I think it's about 54,000 you can get at the moment. They want to get it up to 57, maybe north of that. There's still a few rows to be opened at the front of that's new stand, the Anfield Road end away to our left. Those are empty, but the noise certainly and the volume still very loud here. Jota's got it just outside the box from Diaz, moves towards the edge of the box, then cuts in, left-footed, shoots over the top of the crossbar. Well, he received that ball right on the edge of the box, moved towards the edge of the D, left-footed, drove it right through the middle of the goal, but it was rising from the moment it left his boot, really. Yeah, he's really good at that, though, Jota, as if he is going to shoot and then just kind of dips away to either side and drags the ball along with him. And then, you're right, it was a decent strike, well hit, but you've got to keep that low.
Well, I mentioned earlier that Liverpool gets stronger the longer the night goes on. And where they've been doing that, Fulham actually have been fading in matches. They haven't scored a goal after the hour mark since they beat West Ham 5-0. And were 4-0 up at the time that they did that. And that was 7 games ago in the first few days of December. They had a busy Christmas period, and because of the 2 games that have been injected into their calendar, because of their progress in the Carabao Cup, they've got a relatively busy January, which a lot of the Premier League teams haven't, especially those that have gone out of the FA Cup as well. Here is Anthony Robinson trying to get down that left-hand side, a rare attack after the Liverpool goal. He's still got hold of it after just bumbling his way past Conor Bradley. He then feeds Tom Kearney in a left wing position. He stops the ball, turns back again. Traffic arriving here, and then Robinson slips over as he attempts to cross, and it goes straight out of play and away for a goal kick. But it's fascinating to watch, isn't it? You know, we talk so much about, you watch tennis. Australian Open started this week, and you know that in that game it can be so much in the ascendancy, but a slight twist in mentality, and all of a sudden the momentum in the match completely changes. And you can see how the Fulham players all of a sudden have just had the confidence drained out of them. Nunez holding the ball up brilliantly, turning and feeding Bradley, who charges to the edge of the box. Tackle comes in from Reed. It was a really good one. Nunez has got it back, and they've given up the ghost. He's moved into the penalty area. He's got to the byline. He slips it across the face of goal. It's stopped by Leno, and it's helped out towards this near side, and Robinson will clear.
All of a sudden, those gaps that just weren't there in the Fulham defence are opening up. Just there, Nunez Nunez just played the ball out wide, and then it was played back to him by Gakpo. Nobody near him, just able to drive into the box unchallenged. That just wasn't happening before the Liverpool goal.
Diaz back towards Jones. Jones travels backwards because the ball back to him was too heavy from the Colombian, and it goes all the way to Quevin Kelleher, who has started each of the previous 3 matches in the Carabao Cup, and I think there probably was a little bit of interest in him from a number of teams, but I don't think Klopp wants him to leave because he's so valuable to them. Here is Gakpo, right side, delivering a ball into the box. Nunez with a header, and it's pushed over the top by a diving, sprawling Bernd Leno, who jumped up to his left and had to push away a header that was arrowed into the top corner by Darwin Nunez, and only the fingertips of Leno stopped it from being 3-1.
It's a fantastic header. He put so much power into this himself, Nunez, and it's a great save to his left-hand side by Leno. Well, the 2 substitutes, Gakpo and Nunez, have just decided we're going to take this on ourselves.
McAllister to take the corner on this near side. The 2 substitutes have made a massive difference here in this second half. Right-footed, the ball in towards the near post. A better corner, but it's flicked away. Comes back to Jones, who clips it forward, out to the right. The header by McAllister, and again, Luis Diaz has a bit of space to try and turn the ball centrally. Blocked by Polinia, half cleared by Fulham. But across comes Gomez, and he thunders the ball out of play. And Jurgen Klopp grabs him, gives him a bit of a hug, and says, get back out there and finish the job. They lead by 2 goals to 1 with 10 to go.
Yeah, Fulham have just lacked that potency as well on the counter-attack, where they were looking very, very dangerous before the Liverpool goal. All of a sudden, that's now gone. The confidence of playing out isn't the same. You're right, it's amazing, isn't it, how it can swing so quickly.
Almost feels like, it's almost as if, like, I don't know, it's like a Jurassic Park movie when the big sort of Tyrannosaurus Rex arrives. They've thrown on Darwin Nunez, and all of a sudden the Fulham defenders can hear the thumping footsteps of him charging towards him, and they've just gone into complete and utter panic mode at the back. They've given up so many gaps that weren't there prior to his arrival, prior to those 2 goals in 3 minutes, which have completely turned the nature of this tie. They're going to make another change, actually. Sase Lukic is going to come on. I think to add to the little bit of steel that they've lost in the last 10 minutes or so.
But you've got to, as players, as Fulham players, you've got to still think we've played pretty well. We've just had a poor 5 or 10 minutes. There's still something very much here for us.
It's going to be taken by Kenny, the free kick, which is about 18 yards outside the box left-hand side. Headed away by Van Dijk. Robinson had to get that header correct because there were 3 red shirts darting towards him. Diop has stayed up from the back. It's sent to Jimenez. Jimenez missed the target from 6 yards out anyway, but the offside flag was up a long time ago. Maybe he knew.
He meant it. I'm sure he did.
We're going to be kind. 8 minutes to go before the end of the game, and Liverpool lead by 2 goals to 1. Robinson intercepts and takes the ball away from Diaz. He then collides with Gakpo, but Fulham have got it back again inside their own half. The sports bar open for business, 03717223344. Not many sports bars open until 1 o'clock in the middle of the week, but ours is, and Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy are your custodians after 10 o'clock tonight. Off comes Reed and on comes Lukic.
Yeah, I think it just needed to happen in terms of that defensive unit that Fulham was so good with in the first half, like you say, has just been dismantled. Lukic will come on alongside Paulinho,
joined from Torino last year. Sasa Lukic hasn't seen too much football. I mean, he's had some minutes, but he hasn't been a first choice. Difficult to try and dislodge Paulinho and Reed. Lovely touch on this near side by Gakpo, feeds Nunez down the right and shoots towards the goal. It's pushed away by Leno. It was a thunderous effort. I mean, he got so much power in that from a tight angle that the goalkeeper's fist away ended up almost going out of the box.
Again, brilliant play. Gakpo, wonderful turn, sees his strike partner, just lays it down the right-hand side. Darwin Nunez gets onto it quickly and smashes it towards the roof of the net. A brilliant firm hand from Leno.
Jota trying to feed the ball towards the edge of the box. Is going to bounce kindly for him. He's overhit the pass out wide, but Conor Bradley will get there. Down by the corner flag. In it goes to Gakpo now. Gakpo who has helped turn the tide, kicks the ball out because there's a problem for Jones, and he wants treatment over on the far side. 7 minutes to go.
Yeah, it just shows, doesn't it, how strong these goalkeepers are, how strong their wrists are. I mean, Nunez has absolutely smashed that at Leno from probably about 10 yards away, and he's just put up his right hand and it's just bounced off his wrist. It's just, honestly.
Do you reckon he uses one of those things that he used to have where you could sort of like squeeze them and it would build up your wrist strength? What was that? Do you remember those? Those little contraptions? No, you get that little contraption, that little spring at the top, it's like a triangle. Here down the left-hand side, Diaz looking to get on the end of Jones's ball, but Jones is still hobbling out on that far side. It's back to Conor Bradley on this near side, the right, collected by Gakpo, who runs laterally, just back from the edge of the area. McAllister, space for Bradley. Bradley sends the ball down the right. Nunez with the ball into the box. It's over the head of Diaz and headed behind by Harry Wilson.
Right idea. I like that from Nunez, just switching it up. The last time he went down that right-hand side, he played it flat across the box. This time he just dinks it to the far post. Jones couldn't quite get to it, but he's getting in behind, isn't he? That's the difference. You got a player now playing as a forward that's just running in behind constantly.
Nunez has been superb since he came off. His movement has been brilliant and it's really unsettled for them. And Gakpo, his ability on the ball has helped as well. Those two players. And then I think Jota's sort of upped his game as well since they come on. Here the corner comes in from McAllister, in towards the near post, away by Robinson, further clear by Castagna, then headed back to the left by Jones, who still can't walk, let alone run. Nunez has it. He plays it to Jones. Jones turns and plays it infield to Luis Diaz, who shapes a ball out to the right corner of the penalty area. Gakpo trying to get the better of Jimenez. Jimenez sort of wrestled him to the ground. Gakpo continues, then threatened to go down the right touchline, then came infield instead and kept the ball well. 86 minutes on the clock. Liverpool taking a narrow advantage down to London if it stays like this. They lead by one clear goal, thanks to 2 second-half strikes from Gakpo and prior to that from Jones, that deflected from Jones, that have cancelled out Williams' opener in the first half. Bradley, poor ball forward, and it's gone out by Decord over Reed, and then hammered clear by Diop, and it's gone straight back to Kelleher. I mean, Fulham's away form not great, and their best showings have been in this city. Actually, they did well against Everton, and that sort of set up their season. They did well in the 4-3 defeat here, but it's one of only 2 wins on the road all season, that Everton victory. The other was against Championship side Ipswich, and Liverpool's home form is imperious, but at 2-1, the game's still in the balance.
Yeah, it is. It is. You think about all the permutations as a player before the game even starts. You know it's going to be difficult here. I think if you were to keep it within 1 goal, you'd still actually be reasonably happy, because it's such a tough place to come, even though they were ahead. But they've just really lost their confidence, Fulham. Even when they get the ball now, they can't string 3 passes together.
Bradley trying to turn, and it's flicked into the air by Robinson, and it might come back to Bradley again here, and he puts it through the legs of Decord over Reed, and Nunez is engaged by Lukic, who's going to get a yellow card. Halfway line, free kick to Liverpool.
Yeah, he's committed to it, Lukic, and he doesn't quite get there. And he's just taking a leaf out of his midfield partner's book. If you can't get it, take the player.
Conor Bradley just asking for a little bit of light refreshment on this near side. And he's out of position, then he wins it back very quickly and pinches it off Robinson, and then Jota seemed to fall over, but Diaz takes over into Nunez, comes back to Jota again. He threatens to shoot, pokes it through the legs, Bradley gets it in towards Nunez. Brilliant save by Leno, who came out sprawling and kicked the ball clear. Brilliant ball in by Bradley, great touch from Nunez. Don't know how it hasn't gone past Leno, but the big German has made a great save.
It's because it's a magnificent piece of goalkeeping, that's why. because the ball is flashed across from Conor Bradley. It's brilliant. It's fed in behind the Fulham defence. Nunez does, I think, pretty much everything right. He gets a good contact on it with his left foot. But Bernd Leno, who's diving to his right, just makes sure that he gets his legs up in the air so that he can make the save. It's brilliant from the goalkeeper.
Well, if Fulham go through to the Carabao Cup final, I think they'll have their goalkeeper to thank for making that save. Here's Jota trying to steer the ball forward. 89th minute of the first leg of the semi-final. Liverpool lead by 2-1. Collected by Sasa Lukic, and then Kearney, under pressure, tries to turn. I think Fulham fans know that pretty much their cup runs are going to be where their joy comes, where they're going to get their entertainment value. Now it's massive for them, that second leg in a couple of weeks' time, which will be live on TalkSport. Palhinha moves centrally inside the Liverpool half into the final minute of the 90, and it's with Wilson, and he's dispossessed by Gomez, and Liverpool look to counter-attack, and Gomez stumbled but still released Nunez down the left into the box, faced up by Tosin, plays it into the centre, comes back to Gomez, encouraged to shoot, didn't have the confidence to do so. Diaz keeps it alive, prods it to the left on the angle of the penalty area. Nunez trying to go beyond Tosin, and he bounces it off Tosin and runs out to the far side, and Liverpool keep hold of it once again. No doubting the impact the two substitutes have made as we approach the final few seconds of the game, and that's a little bit overhit by Nunez when it's travelled beyond the perimeters of the playing surface and out for a goal kick away to our right.
Yeah, it's just again that running in behind, stretching the Fulham defence, just wasn't happening in the first half. Nunez, that's one thing about him, he will not stop. He's got great fitness levels, he's aggressive with every sprint that he makes, and he does make a difference because of it. Again, you know, if you're being hypercritical, he should really have put that away, that cross that was played in. It was a brilliant save, but he should be scoring really with that opportunity. And you just wonder, will it eventually happen for him in a Liverpool shirt? You would expect so with the amount of opportunities he's getting.
Jones has been fouled. And Liverpool's next fixture after this is away at Bournemouth in 11 days' time. They've got a bit of a rest between now and then they'll go from Bournemouth to Fulham on the 24th of this month. That is when the next leg of this competition will take place. For Fulham, well, their next action after this is live on TalkSport on Saturday, 12:30 kickoff. We'll be there from 11 o'clock, building up to all the action. And then they've got quite a hell of a break, 11 days themselves, before they then entertain Liverpool in that second leg of the semi-final. It's the split weekend of the Premier League, so everybody gets 10 days off, at least. Gomez, out to the right. Canate plays it on. Gakpo moves down the right side, tries to get the better of Palhinha, gets into a crossing position. His low ball is stabbed away, but it's going to be Bradley who picks up the pieces from Diop on the edge of the box. We're into injury time, of which there's going to be 3 minutes added at the end of the 90. Out to the left and Jones, back into Nunez, and now Van Dijk. On to Jota, Van Dijk, McAllister keeping the ball inside the Fulham half. Canate, Bradley wants it played centrally, it's not going to reach him, it's away by Robinson, and then the Mexican Raul Jimenez will chase up over the halfway line. Gakpo didn't get much on him, but the free kick is given in Fulham's favour. I think largely Jurgen Klopp will be happy with the reaction in the second half to what was a very difficult first 45 minutes for Liverpool. 11th defeat in 25 for Fulham. Liverpool unbeaten. They will be at the end of this in 24 home matches and about to continue their march forward in 4 different competitions. They'll keep alive in 4 different competitions, taking a lead into the second leg in London in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, I think it's been important actually since the second goal for Liverpool that Fulham have kept them at bay with a couple of good saves from Leno. Because if that would have been a third goal, then you're starting to think, wow, that's going to be so difficult. Yeah, it's still within 1, and that gives them something to attack in the second leg. It means it's not done yet. Neither of the two ties
have been settled in the first leg, that's for sure. There's a lot of football still to play. Kearney approaching the midway point of the Liverpool half, shifts it left onto Jimenez, and then Robinson, who goes over the leg of Bradley. He did spring up like a salmon and land on his hands. I thought he was going to go into a forward roll, to be honest with you, but he has won the free kick.
And it looked like a free kick, but he
He's a lot off it.
he dives right over a Fosby flop over the top of Bradley's leg.
You can't, that's not a Fosby flop. A Fosby flop is when you go backwards over the top of the high jump. That's more of a belly flop.
Oh,
You never did the high jump, did you?
no.
Not really built for that, I don't think. Here's the free kick on the left-hand side.
More a shot putter.
Wilson with the delivery into the near post. It was poor, the delivery, and Jota was the first one to touch it, and he was the closest to it. And he plays it off Wilson out for a throw into Liverpool. And we're in the fourth and final minute of stoppage time at the end of the 90 now. And Liverpool know that they're edging towards another victory, a victory which is certainly their second half performance has deserved. They're 90 minutes away from another trip to Wembley. 10 players missing, including some of their highest profile stars. But they still had enough to beat Fulham, who carried a threat, took the lead, and thought that they were going to do a number on Liverpool. They had one or two chances before Liverpool got themselves back into the game, thanks to a fortuitous deflected effort from Curtis Jones. But from the moment that ball hit the back of the net, Fulham were wrecked by panic. Their nerves were shattered, and the sight of Darwin Núñez pounding down towards their goal sent a fright through their spine. His centred ball found Cody Gakpo just 3 minutes later, and it was 2-1 to Liverpool in the blink of an eye. In fairness, Liverpool had 2 or 3 other opportunities, which only Bernd Leno's agility stopped from going beyond him, and them taking a healthier lead down to London. But the gap is just 1. But it does mean that Fulham will have to beat Liverpool in West London in 14 days' time, something they haven't achieved since Martin Jol was the boss 12 years ago. Liverpool 2, Fulham 1.
Sam, thanks very much. Well, Fulham know how to lead here at Anfield, but they don't know how to see the job through. And I'll tell you what, Dean Ashton, 1-0 at half-time, and the way it came out the second half, Fulham had every intention of defending that 1-goal lead and trying to hit Liverpool on the break. Well, if they're going to try and do that, if they get in front in the tie, in the second leg, and they try to defend the lead again, in the meantime, they're going to have to work on converting chances on the break. There were at least 2 really good opportunities for Fulham to score on the break when it was 1-0 here tonight. Had they done that, they'd be in command of this tie, but they failed to put those chances away, and they let Liverpool back in.
They did, because Liverpool had committed numbers at that point, trying to get back into the game, and those gaps were opening up. And of course, from the vantage point we have, it's very, very easy to see where the right pass is. But you've got to take those opportunities against teams that are this good. You have to. You know, you're not going to get those second opportunities. These teams are too good. They have too much quality, and we see it so often with teams that don't take their opportunities, and then the opposition that have got so much quality come back and end up winning the game. And Fulham have fallen foul of that this evening, and I'm pretty sure Marco Silva, I think he'll have quite a few hard words to say, because he looked very animated, because he could see the pass that was on.
I think he was so frustrated with Pereira, he took him off. I think that was the reason why he came off. He looks a bit frustrated as he's walking towards the tunnel now, Marco Silva. He knows his team was in control, but they let it slip. They had the chance to extend their lead, but they've let Liverpool back into this time. That's the story. There's a little bit of Klopp there just a moment ago. He's trying to be a bit Pep-like. He went onto the pitch, arm around Conor Bradley, just pointing out little things he could do better, a little bit of coaching every youngster. But wow, he played really well at right back, didn't he?
I thought he grew into it brilliantly well, because it was tough for him in that first half. They were counter-attacking down that side with Robinson and Willian, and obviously he slipped for the goal, which he'll have been playing on his mind and could affect a young player. But I think as the changes were being made by Liverpool, I saw him come over and get a bit of information. And I think that was to say, you've now really got the freedom to go and attack and allow some space for Gakpo just to get on the ball. And he did that brilliantly, and he won a couple of free kicks, and he'll be really pleased with his second half performance.
Liverpool useless first half, weren't they? Does Klopp keep picking the wrong starting lineup?
It's definitely a question worth asking, because it seems like in the second half they're having to make changes to ignite the team, which worked again. And if it keeps working, I guess you could say, well, he knows what he's doing. You know, maybe he's trying to tire out the opposition, etc.
Really?
I just think he isn't sure when the top players are all fit of who exactly to pick in which position, because Jota started as a forward, ended up on the left, then he ended up on the right. I think he struggles with that forward line at times.
Yeah, get them in the right position to flourish against certain opponents. Fulham did work hard. What I love about it is that both semi-finals, we've been at both. Middlesbrough won, Chelsea 0 last night, and Liverpool 2, Fulham 1 here tonight. Both live on TalkSport. Second legs in a couple of weeks will be live on TalkSport as well, and we still don't know who's going through.
No, look, there's nothing that saps the enjoyment out of a two-legged semi-final when the first leg, one team takes a handsome lead into the second leg. So you're right, just that one goal in it. Of course, I think the Chelsea-Middlesbrough game is going to be fascinating to see how that goes, with how well Middlesbrough
they're not bad, are they, Borough?
Defended. No, exactly. And Fulham will have a chance, of course they will, at home. But you would have to fancy Liverpool quite strongly now with having that lead.
Well, Fulham can win 5-0 at home, they can lose at home to Burnley. We just don't know what's going to happen. What I do know is, whoever made that decision, this is the last of the two-legged semi-finals, is absolutely fuming right now. They really wanted 4-5-0 first leg leads for the big sides, but there you go. Let me give you the full times tonight. Here it finished Liverpool 2, Fulham 1. In the EFL Trophy, Blackpool 2, Burton 1, Accrington 1, Bolton 3, Posh Crawley was postponed. And in the National League, the leaders, Chesterfield, ran riots. They beat Gateshead 5-0. Fire Brigade has gone there because Will Grigg is burning brightly. Got a hat-trick tonight for the Spireites. So full time, Liverpool beating Fulham by 2-1. More live football for you on Friday night. Two of the bottom three meet in the Premier League. We've got it live and exclusive and only on TalkSport. Burnley Luton from 7 p.m. our coverage starts. Breakfast from 6 tomorrow morning with Alan Brazil and Ali McCoist. I'll be on at 7 if the alarm works. I'll be reflecting on this game here tonight. Liverpool were useless first half as usual, but put it right second half to win the first leg 2-1. Second leg in 2 weeks at Fulham, who are still in it thanks mainly to their big German keeper Leno. Burnt stop Fulham from being burned live on TalkSport. The Sports Bar is next. Get your calls in 03717 223344.
Kick-off on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18+, BeGambleAware.org.